1819 News.
A new distribution center for Frito-Lay is coming to the city of Pritchard and will be bringing new jobs to that area. A 25,000 square foot facility will be built on Anton Street. The distribution center will then be used to supply the Frito-Lay products throughout the greater Mobile area. City leadership say that this new facility will ignite additional business investments in that area, as well as stimulate the local economy. Construction has already begun on the new facility and is expected to be completed and operational by June of 2025. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Where I was living was not a great place to live anymore. I began to pray for a place to go, praying for all of these things that a 9-year-old would want. I wanted horses, big house with a bunch of people my age. I wanted parents. I wanted a mom and a dad. Before I even prayed it, the Lord had already answered my prayer with the Big Oak Ranch. Who would that 9-year-old be if she never came to the Big Oak Ranch? I would be trying to fight for survival instead of fighting to break a cycle.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
The Mobile City Council has approved a resolution to commit funds to the Gulf Coast Passenger Railroad project. The city will commit $3 million over the course of the next 3 years as part of an agreement with the National Railroad Passenger Corporation. The Alabama Port Authority will provide $1 million over the next 3 years to help with the return of Amtrak service to that area. And Mobile Mayor Sandy Stimson says the next step is to secure funding from the state. All the resolutions that were necessary to keep the passenger rail project moving forward were approved this week by the City Council with unanimous votes. A murder suspect located in the state of Michigan has been extradited back to Alabama to face capital murder charges. 43-year-old Renardo May was booked in the Madison County Jail this past Monday. He's wanted for robbery and homicide that occurred on July 2nd along Swancott Road. May is being held without bond. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name, and leave no troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon, or as we like to call this thing online, Joey Clark Live. You can always watch on YouTube at Joey Clark Live. Like and subscribe. A lot of folks watch late in the evening, not live, but we, record the thing live.
Right.
You can also watch on the Twitter at the Joey Clark. Eddie Bader here in the studio with me. How you doing today, Eddie?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, bro?
I'm all right, I suppose.
Oh?
Yeah, second day in a row, I just woke up in a foul mood, like perpetually triggered.
Well,
and how unfair the world is.
When you woke up.
Yeah.
I mean, you woke up that way, or you woke up and
No, I
you
woke
grabbed
up
your
that
phone?
way. No, I woke up that way even before I grabbed my phone.
I hate that.
I even had it on the other side of the room, just in case the demons, the literal demons, weren't hopping out of the phone into my dreams.
Have you thought about wrapping your phone up in tinfoil?
I might. Or myself, actually. I'm thinking about those grounded sheets.
Oh, I've seen
Like,
those,
have you been
dude.
properly grounded, Eddie?
I've seen those. Apparently not. But I don't know if they're worth the money. Why don't you just wear the copper bracelet?
No, I think it's because before I went to sleep, I saw that they did a big reveal speech of the VP pick, Tim Walz, the Harris campaign, Kamala and Tim up there. And it's just amazing how the brainwashing works. I had good friends who said, what about this guy bringing that populist energy? And I said back to my friend, he's a fake puppet of the corrupt ruling regime. We probably shouldn't talk politics for the next few months. Let's talk about, you've been watching the Olympics? Like, I just, it's amazing. Like, folks I respect who aren't doing this every day.
Right.
Their sense of things. You know, I always try to put myself in the shoes of being like 12. Like when I was 12, I remember watching Al Gore and George W. Bush debate, sitting there listening, like making my own opinion already.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think 12-year-old Joey watching that debate between Gore and Bush is about the average American watching this stuff.
Okay.
Seriously. Like their speaking style. Oh, that was a good point. Or he presented himself in a strong way. Oh, he's folksy. She's a woman. And I don't even need to check. She's a woman. And I'm a woman. No, yeah. Let's go. Again, folks, any reason for you to vote is a legitimate reason.
Yeah.
That's how this game works. And, you know, I think what happened is before I went to bed, this clip came up on my feed and the sound was not on. So I'm going to leave the sound off.
Okay.
But this is just Kamala and Tim Walz sitting there laughing. And Walz does this like, whoo, and like shakes his head. And I'm like, I'm turning into Alex Jones. These people are literal demons. Demons. And then I realized, I'm just letting it get to me.
But if you watch this before you go to bed, then that's why you woke up so triggered. I can't watch anything about snakes before I go to bed, or I'll dream of snakes.
I've yet actually to hear the audio. So should we hear the audio all together live?
You want to give it a go?
Because I see a lot of laughing. Let's try this.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Okay, is that enough?
Demons. Like sucking the aura from all these morons out there in the crowd. So I'm working on it, Eddie. Maybe those grounded sheets will help me.
What if you wake up and you burn them up? You just can't be grounded.
Yeah, that might be the case. Might be I'm the demon.
Right.
Crap.
What do I mean?
Well, I'm still hate the angels then. If y'all are on the side of the angels, I don't like you. Leave me alone. Thank you very much. See, but these folks are worse than like even the offer God gives you. Like you can go live in hell.
Yeah.
You can live in the complete absence of my eternal love and devotion. Go ahead, make your own kingdom. But these folks, no, you're not allowed to do even that. Like even if you become like part of the hill people, they'll find you in them hills.
Yeah. Yeah, they will.
If you're Amish, you're Mennonite, and you're trying to stay away off the... No, they'll still come after you. We literally had a story about that last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is no part of life, no plot on God's green earth that these folks who seem to have the secularist mission to go out and save everybody from themselves, there's no freedom from this. Freedom is giving in to the conformity. So good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. But, you know, of course, all the stuff is coming out now. By stuff, I mean things people have said over the years. And honestly, Twitter's a little lame today because all we're talking about are the two VP picks.
That's news.
But here is Tim Walz not too long ago on MSNBC. Let's listen in, Eddie.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
Wait, is he running for vice president of the United States, or is he looking to be like what prime minister of the Great Britain?
Yeah.
Of the United Kingdom?
Yeah.
What the hell just came out of that man's mouth?
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
I have every right to say I hate you for saying that, sir.
Yes, you do.
That you are a miserable worm for even suggesting that. Who's going to define hate? Tim? Who's going to define misinformation? Mr. Walz? Coach Walz? Ew. I hated high school. Public school teacher, Mr. Walz. It's like you're always trying to relive your high school days, right? Because adulthood's so crappy. I'm trying to escape that. But no, let's put some mediocre bag of meat up in front of the world and have him just puppeteered by our corporate class to say crap like,
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
So freedom, and then this guy has the temerity to come out and say, in my state, we say, mind your own business. Hey, Tim, mind your own business. He definitely sounds like what's going on in the UK these days. And it's only getting worse. Free speech. There's no guarantee to free speech. Okay, then the Constitution means nothing. The Bill of Rights means nothing. This government is like every other government man has ever created, built in conquest, manipulation, and domination. Frickin' tyrant in waiting. But the thing is, he doesn't even have the backbone or the stones to do it himself. Again, he's just a puppet for a corrupt regime. And it's amazing to hear that come out of somebody who's now been raised up running for vice president of the United States. Because we're hearing plenty of it in England. This clip making the rounds is amazing. The first clip you're going to hear, if you're just listening, is Christopher Hitchens in 2009.
Okay.
Let's say Hitchens in 2009 is giving the warning. The next voice you will hear after Hitchens is what, Keir Starmer, the now new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Just listen into this.
Or give it to your deadliest enemy and pay for the rope that will choke you. This is very urgent business, ladies and gentlemen. I beseech you. Resist it while you still can, and before the right to complain is taken away from you, which will be the next thing. You will be told you can't complain because you're Islamophobic. The term is already being introduced into the culture.
2009.
As if it was an accusation of race hatred, for example, or bigotry, whereas it's only the objection to the preachings of a very extreme and absolutist religion. Watch out for these symptoms. They are not the symptoms of surrender, very often ecumenically offered to you by men of God in other robes, Christian and Jewish and smarmy ecumenical. These are the ones who will hold open the gates for the barbarians. The barbarians never take a city till someone holds the gates open for them. And it's your own preachers who will do it for you, and your own multicultural authorities who will do it for you. Resist it while you can. And if you wonder what will happen if you don't, look and see how a cricket team in Middlesex in England had to change its name by force last week because it was called, and had been for years, the Middlesex Crusaders. Look and see how stories about little pigs can't be taught to children in English schools anymore, lest offense be taken by the religion of peace. Resist it while you can.
One of the well, we didn't. Again, that was Hitchens in 2009. Here's the new prime minister in 2024.
That is coming up over and over again is Islamophobia. And, well, you can see the stats, you can see the numbers rising, particularly since October the 7th. Although we shouldn't fall into the trap of thinking that before October the 7th, this was all heading in the right direction. It's been far too high for far too long. Clearly, we need to just say over and over again, Islamophobia is intolerable. It can never, ever be justified, and we have to continue with a zero tolerance approach. And I think there's more we can do in government. There's certainly stuff online which I think needs tackling much more robustly than it is at the moment.
What I'm hoping, Keir, is your experience as a prosecutor means you'll be thinking about the strategy we can use to make sure we take action.
Your experience as a prosecutor. And that's happening right now as we speak.
Oh, big time, dude. I mean, you can watch on any social media, pull up any kind of live that's going on over in England, and you'll see protest after protest, or there's some actual action going on where British police are actually arresting British people for complaining and for pushing back and trying to take their country back. And if you don't think it can, if it can't happen there, can happen here thing, it can happen here. Look, remember COVID. Remember the powers that they took during COVID.
Well, it wasn't just a vague they. It was people like Tim Walz.
Oh yeah, he had the hotline.
In my world, mind your own business. Except we were locking everybody in their homes, and let's create a hotline for neighbors to snitch on neighbors.
He had a hotline
straight out of East Germany, because I'm so scared of death. Again, that's England. But in the United States, I thought we opened up a big can of whoop-ass at Yorktown so we wouldn't have to deal with this sort of crap. But apparently not. Apparently human nature still affects Americans.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
Oh, happy day. You know, I'm honestly thinking no matter who wins, this country is screwed and will probably deserve it. Oh, it's not a nice thing to say. I don't wish it, but the wishful thinking, the flattery, the hubris, the pride in us tearing down every single tradition that was given to us, tearing at the flesh of the wealth that was given to us by ancestors that actually worked their tails off. And we now just print money. We think we can push it on the entire world. We think we can drop bombs and sell weapons to the entire world, that we can live like fattened calves until the cows come home. Well, we're going to be slaughtered before too long if we keep acting like this. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. But, you know, we've got the right prosecutors. We've got prosecutors who know exactly what they're doing, right? Not just in the UK, but in this country. Let's listen in.
The power I have as a prosecutor is that with a swipe of my pen, I can charge someone with a misdemeanor, the lowest level offense possible.
Yeah.
And by virtue of that swipe of my pen, you will have to go to a courthouse and stand in line. You will have to come out of pocket and hire an attorney. You may get arrested for a few hours. You will be embarrassed in your community. You will miss time from coming onto the Google campus. All because with the swipe of my pen, I've charged you with a crime, which I may choose to dismiss 2 weeks later. It's an incredible amount of power.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that the people who have this kind of power are taking seriously the responsibility in terms of understanding, as much as anything, the impact on the people who will be affected by that.
Absolutely.
No, it didn't sound like you're somebody who's going to take responsibility. It sounds like you're somebody who gets turned on by it.
Sound like a threat.
We'll see. We shall see. Oh, did you see, by the way, that the Ukrainians struck inside actual Russia? They're now doing incursions into Kursk.
I think I saw, was it a video, a drone video?
Yeah, several of them.
Yeah.
Several different ones.
See that, yeah.
Oh, and the astronauts are still stuck. Great job.
You know,
who's going to rescue those astronauts?
Elon.
Mm.
I think they've reached out to him, and he kind of assured him he could do it, but that assurance came so quickly. They said, "Okay, well, we'll try to figure it out on our own."
You'll think some of you might think I'm faking it. No. We've been taken over by liars and people that worship power, people that worship their status, and who would sell their wealth, sell their freedoms for just a little bit more. Another hit. Just give us a little more power and a little bit more of your money. We'll solve all the problems. We'll dry every tear. We'll wipe every butt. So how about some real fake news from the Babylon Bee?
No, that'll make you feel better.
No, it won't. But from the shores of Galilee, after disciples asked the teacher why he always portrayed them as sheep in parables, Jesus helpfully explained that it's because sheep are very, very stupid. Well, said Peter, staring at the ground awkwardly, we did ask. According to the disciples, Jesus went on to offer a very lengthy exposition about just how incredibly dumb sheep are. After an hour, I started to get the picture that perhaps the Lord sometimes finds us a bit slow, said the Apostle Philip. There were a lot of things like, verily I tell you, sheep are so dumb. There were parables about the stupidity of sheep just to explain other parables about sheep being stupid. Frankly, it got a bit uncomfortable after a while. At publishing time, the disciples had decided that maybe they would leave this little tidbit out of their gospel accounts. I wish they had. Am I off base here, Eddie?
No. Just triggered.
No, because it goes beyond, oh, I don't like the people on the other side. It goes to, even if Trump's elected, who is actually in a position of authority going to make the required changes that nobody wants to make? Or are we just going to continue with the shallow BS, with the flattery and the happy talk?
I feel better with Trump there trying to get that done than just accepting what we have now. And if he BSing me, then so be it. I fell for BS for a politician before.
Yeah.
I fell for it before.
Just say, keep chipping away at it. Keep chipping away at our foundations. And you'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because eventually people are not going to want to play anymore if they aren't already there. And while you claim you're the party of freedom now, because you believe in the right to, child sacrifice, just keep chipping away at it. We'll see where it goes. Oh, by the way, things are going great here in Montgomery. I wake up to this headline. That's Dr. N and like asterisk, I think, oh, that's the N-word. Mm-hmm. That's Dr. N-word to you. Montgomery superintendent apologizes for keynote speaker's offensive language at annual convocation.
That's interesting.
And then when I saw that who they invited to speak was Michael Eric Dyson, I wasn't surprised.
You weren't surprised anymore?
No, not at all. And honestly, a bit of salty language doesn't bother me because I grew up on the internet. But that's, well, wholesome. The wardens of literal prisons for children there in our public schools. It's amazing some kids are able to survive that and actually find success.
Oh, yeah.
After being hampered in such a way. As you can tell, it's not getting better. But we'll keep slogging on. And if you want to try me, 272-9228, maybe you can cheer me up. Or just tell me I'm being over the top. But I genuinely believe it. That we are in a bad, bad place. Anybody who takes the time to think about it for a second knows it. (272-9228). This isn't going to make me any happier. This is literal British TV. This is what's come to the United States. This is what's coming. Let's listen in.
Into racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material.
And it's not like somebody, goes on Twitter and goes, N-word, N-word, N-word. They're warning that if you share
it,
just videos of the riots, you could be inciting racial hatred. It's going to come to here.
Tell you don't believe what you see and don't show what you've seen.
Absolutely remarkable.
and then follow up with identification arrests and so forth. So it's a really, really serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
It just feels like we're on a big old American farm, big old animal farm, and they've been lying a long, long time.
Heck of a long time.
Let's see, this is on one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joey. How you doing today?
Ah!
Boy, you know, you never really want to have to go to the far end of the spectrum. But if that doesn't sound like 1930s Germany, that is just scary stuff.
Really is. And it's not that far-fetched to say this will hop across the pond right to our shores. If it's not already here, they've definitely already built the infrastructure to do that here.
Immigration issues there, they've had them for years. And basically people watching said if they can do it there, they can do it here.
Yeah, look what we found out about the truckers, you know, when they did the shutdown in Canada.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it came out a year later that Trudeau did what he did at the bidding of the Biden administration.
Yep.
And basically, so that tells you what's coming here if Kabbalah and Walls end up getting the White House. You know, we are really going to be conservatives are going to have their backs against the wall. I mean, it'll be bad. I mean, it's not going to be a good situation.
And it won't just be conservatives. It'll be anybody that the ruling party decides has stepped out of line. And, and that could be an Elon Musk, that could be a Joe Rogan, or it could be, you know, those people are, for whatever reason, untouchable. I guess they got FU money. But in many ways, you look at the average person that gets on the wrong side of any issue.
Yeah.
There's this trap door. Just watch out.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, next thing you know, they'll be setting up registration places in every city. Come get your Star David or your cross and make sure you have it sewn to your clothes when you're out walking around.
Yeah, don't you be reading Lord of the Rings or Shakespeare.
That's right.
Old-timey ideas.
You know, we don't want you to have any ideas other than, you know, the group think of the Marxist way. So anyway, but cheer up, you know.
Cheer up, Joey. Cheer up.
You know, it's one. If you hold the Christian worldview, you knew it was coming.
Yes.
It's just a matter of when.
That's true. Yeah.
So, you know, and guess what? We still win in the end.
Well, I appreciate it, David. Appreciate the call.
Thank you, David.
Take care.
Joey. Cheer up.
Let's turn that frown upside down. Line 3, you're on there. Who's this?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I need a Katie outside, please.
All right, hold on a second.
I have a question about one of your sponsors.
Okay. All right, hold on a second.
1 second. 272-9228. If you want to get Eddie on the line, or if you want to join the show. This part of the program brought to you by, River Region Contracting. And there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you with that roof of yours. You know, it could be an asphalt or a metal roof. And you don't want that headache if you let a problem fester. Not only is it going to be very expensive to fix if you let, say, a big old leak that lasts and you don't notice it initially, but it starts to grow and grow and grow, create more rot, more problems. Well, not only will it be more expensive, often your insurance company will say, we ain't covering it. You were negligent, is probably the word they will use. So if you are worried about your roof, or maybe you're not, and you should be, you should call River Region Contracting. You know, manufacturers are recommending, whether for an asphalt or metal roof, inspections every 3 to 5 years for preventative maintenance, but why not do it on an annual basis at least with River Region Contracting, because their inspections are always free. So you're not on the hook when you call them up, say, hey, come check out my roof. And if there's nothing wrong, there's no charge. And they're just giving you peace of mind in a way. And of course, they also free estimates. So if they do find a problem, they can estimate how much it's going to cost, and those estimates are accurate. And they're a team of insurance specialists, so they can walk you through that insurance claims process, make it a swift and easy experience, get that roof fixed up very swiftly. So check them out today. There's a reason folks are calling them the premier roofing contractor here in the area. That number, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. And, you know, the most frustrating part is people that just want to go about living their everyday lives are going to have to bear the brunt of what this rotten ruling class has brought. It really is disgusting. But, like we said, we'll have to soldier on. And who knows? You might not have hope for tomorrow or for this nation, but you can have hope maybe in things a little more profound or a little higher than that. Either way you want to put it. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, you will immediately see the difference in pricing. Not only do we offer the most competitive rates, but our closing costs rank among the lowest in the industry. How do we do it? Because we can. We do not have the overhead that big banks and lenders do. Those big banks and lenders have big expenses. And what do? They pass those expenses along to you. Meanwhile, here at Alabama Home Mortgage, we receive wholesale rates which result in big savings that we pass along to you. Don't pay more for less. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our rates and pricing are just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-488-2594. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-488-2594. That's 800-488-2594. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. As parts of the southeastern U.S. gets rainfall measured in feet, we continue on the dry side of Debbie with sunshine. Another hot day today with a high temperature near 100. Low tonight, 76. More of the same with upper 90s on Thursday and Friday. Sunshine dominates, just hot and dry, even during the weekend. Highs in the mid-90s and still dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Have you heard the news? Capital Tractor will soon be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. With lots of Kubota inventory, we're going to sell it instead of move it. Our big moving sale is a great time to get a great deal on a Kubota at Capital Tractor in Montgomery.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm sorry, but I apologize for nothing. Sometimes the lies just get to you. It's like a constant negative flow of energy. Everybody's political BS. But that's what we're here to be about, right? Being informed voters. Like, that makes a huge difference. Though, Romex Angler's on the stream trying to cheer me up, saying, a foul mood, foul spelled F-O-W-L, a foul mood may be due to eating too much chicken. Well, I had beef last night. So, maybe you're right. Thanks for trying to cheer me up, Romex. Let's go to the lines and go to Urbanite. Hey, Urbanite, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
No.
You know, we've known this in the black community forever, that too much chicken is bad for you. Thanks. Hey, now here's the real deal. The Lutheran Church has had a prominent stance in the black community since the Civil Rights Day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, there's a connection I was made aware of on a previous show about the Lutheran community and the Somalian community and China. What do you think about that?
Well, I know Walls has spent a lot of time there in China. I'm not sure how I would connect all three of those things you just mentioned, and I wasn't listening to the show before, so.
Okay. I mean, you are aware of the Lutheran community and the Civil Rights Movement, right?
The Lutheran community and what?
And the Civil Rights Movement of the 60s and 50s.
Don't quote me as an expert.
Okay, but here's the deal. I think we all know that the Somalian community is heavy in Minnesota. And China apparently has almost adopted the country of Somalia. So it stands to reason there are some connections in there that somebody who has the resources needs to be digging, because it doesn't feel comfortable to me. And we find out, you know, when you think about the lady down in Mexico who's a staunch communist, I mean, the fact that we probably are going to be squeezed from both quarters is a very uncomfortable situation. And we have a guy who's running for president who I know loves himself, and he loves his country, I have no doubt. But how is his focus?
Yep.
Because he always has a lot of irons in the fire, especially irons in the fire he knows about. But what about those other things? Like the way the COVID thing played out against it.
Exactly. And that's where some of my political despair comes in, for sure.
Yeah, and they used his biggest phobia, which was germs. Right. It was known for years that he walked around with hand sanitizer.
Right.
And they used the germ thing to scare him.
I'm also very much of a germaphobe, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, though. I just want to enlighten most of the people around here to kind of wake up.
Well, I appreciate it, Urbanite. As
No
always.
problem.
Let's go to Papa B. Hey, Papa B, how you doing?
Hey, about a few things to lighten your day.
You can try.
More news. You know what? You better be careful. You're becoming Don Rockwell incarnate. You know, it's happening right before our eyes, Joey.
Well, you are what you eat, and if I continue to consume this pablum that's thrown up every day on Twitter and corporate media, I guess I'll turn into some just crotchety old bastard. It was pretty good with the words, I suppose, but crotchety all the same.
Well, you know, with you, I watch the news or not. You know, I follow some news. I don't tune in to Fox or certainly not any of the other cable networks anymore. But I get news and stuff, and it is depressing, you know. By the way, Urbanite's right. The Lutheran Church is deep into, you know, the civil rights movement. People don't realize it, I don't think, but they certainly are.
Yeah, my dad was raised in the Lutheran Church, and I don't think he's much of a believer, so we see how that stuck.
Yeah, well.
That's why I'd claim more Catholicism than anything.
Right. Well, you know, you've heard of the 16-year plan, right?
16-year plan.
You never heard of the 16-year plan?
Not by that name, though.
Okay, well, for those, I guess this is the way I've heard it. Maybe somebody else can shed light on it a different way, but the 16-year plan was Barack Obama was supposed to come in for 8. Hillary's for 8. And the first, Barack Obama was supposed to, basically, his main objective, one of his main objectives, is to take away guns. And that didn't happen. But, that was supposed to happen. And then, of course, Hillary was going to come in, get us into a world war, and basically wipe out this country as we have known it, and just rewrite it all as a communist state or whatever, socialist state, however the Democrats wanted to rewrite it. Of course, Donald Trump, election thwarted those plans, and they had a huge setback as a result of it. And of course, they never did get guns out of the people's hands. And I think as long as the Second Amendment can stand, we got a chance. The First Amendment, of course, is just as important, but
yes,
you can, if you don't have a way to defend yourself, they'll just kill you. So, but anyway, that was the 16-year plan, and they are still following the 16-year plan. Okay,
that makes sense.
Their next and most important objective, since they can't get the guns, is go ahead and get us into a world war, and that's what they're doing. By hook or by crook, world war, civil war, some kind of war. That's what they've been wanting and desirous of for a very long time. So, when you see what's going to happen, I think in this election cycle, no matter whether Trump wins or loses, there's going to be a violent outbreak, okay? And it will all be on the Democrat side. If Trump does wind up losing, or if there's, some shenanigans that go on in the, voting and all, and there's disruption, let's just say, in allowing Trump to get into office, they're going to use Antifa and BLM and their illegal immigrant horde to create trouble, okay? If the Democrats, if that's what happens, if the Democrats do wind up winning, or if they don't, one way or the other, this is coming down, I believe. I don't know what kind of continuance of government plans are out there. I've heard that there are. I don't know much more about it than just hearing of it. But, certainly, we might have to just sit here and rely on each other in some ways that we probably haven't even conceived of before, Joey.
Yeah, and the most frustrating part is there are ways out of the wilderness, and it just seems like the folks with the most power and the biggest megaphones and the most, let's say, effective brainwashing tools, they don't want to go in, I think, a sounder direction. And, there are moments where I think I'm a little crazy, and I seek out folks that aren't, say, like me. I seek out people with different political backgrounds and from different parts of the country and the world. And no, people, whether you're talking California or Britain, whether you grew up a nihilist or in the Anglican Church, people are seeing the same issues. And it's, that's, I think, the most frustrating part is it doesn't have to be this way. But it
never does, All the wars and all the times, I don't think it did have to be this way, but I hope we're not heading toward it. Oh, merciful heaven, save us from it, Lord. But we got to be ready I'm just getting kind of ready for some things, and I hope I don't have to. But I'm kind of prepping. I've never been a prepper, But
I'm just stacking sats.
My ship.
I'm just stacking sats and hodling, as they say.
I just hope this radio station makes it into any catastrophe that might be coming about, because disruption of communications is the first thing that you'll see.
No, I have a feeling that's going to be my divine punishment. By the hand of God, the airwaves will still be on, and Joey must be here noon to 3. Describing the world going to hell.
As long as you have a media pass.
Let's hope it doesn't shake out like that. All right. Okay, guys.
That's how COVID felt.
Right.
It's like, here's
It
your
was.
stupid pass. Like,
You have a letter? You have your papers?
Right. No, and it's just, I think the folksy thing with this new VP that got me, he's like, in Minnesota, we respect our neighbors. I'm like, oh my God.
I saw a post
Like,
yesterday.
you might use polite language, but dude, like, the way y'all went about this is not the start of a conversation. You're literally talking about forcing people to do all sorts of
Take
things.
a look at his policies.
It's just nuts.
But I saw a post from a friend of mine on Facebook yesterday who leans a little bit different way politically.
Mhm.
And her hashtag was the father you always wanted.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Go play out your daddy issues online or something. I guess that's what she's doing.
I guess.
Ew.
But yeah.
I didn't like it when folks are like, oh, Trump's like the father and everything. No, it's weird. That is weird.
I never thought of Trump fatherly.
Some like Freudian weird thing going on.
I don't.
there.
That's just not me. I'm not. I don't know. I got a dad. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw those trending too. He's like the dad American.
And which I don't get, because everything that I've read, and I'm sure there's positive stories out there somewhere, but everything I read, pretty negative. Especially dad getting a DUI, going 95 and a 55, and trying to pretend that he was deaf so he wouldn't get a ticket.
And there's the stolen valor angle.
Ooh, several different angles on that. Even some folks from his troop have come out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That-
Sat down for interviews and everything. Saying
That's-
he betrayed us. He left.
That's
us.
hard to deny right there. But
Well, deny it.
This is a party that doesn't appreciate the military. This is a party that defunds the police.
Right.
They appreciate the military in a sense of, you go do my dirty work.
I don't want to do your dirty work no more.
No more.
Mm-hmm. Great song.
Yeah, it is.
And by the way, did you see, Eddie, if you meet your wife in a public place, like if, say your wife, Xana, walked in here right now and the cameras were on and all that stuff, would you like shake her hand and then give her like an ass out hug, like where you're not touching?
Nah, not really.
That's what Walls did with his wife last night. And then when it came to Doug, Kamala's husband, they were like feeling each other up. I was thinking of the Prince song.
Okay, so me in public, I embarrass Susanna. I will slap her on the butt in public when there are lots of people around, and I'll make it loud.
Right, and that's a little rude, but it's also like, that's a dude. Like,
Yeah,
that's a very much a hetero dude thing. No, it was the damnedest thing. Why are you shaking your wife's hand and giving her the whole like
handshaking thing?
and then the
that's kinda
lean in
strange.
hug, like so we don't touch too much? It was like,
Maybe they
it was
have an
just odd.
agreement.
Yeah, it was just odd. I don't know what that is, but hey, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. Somebody get Doug some tea. But if you are experiencing the symptoms of low testosterone, and that could be feeling tired all the live long day, and that's physically and mentally, just feel like you're walking through life in a fog, getting tired right after lunch, or it could be you're putting on extra weight, and it's not like you change your diet, losing muscle mass, and you're never in the mood, no sex drive to speak of. That could very well mean that you have low testosterone. A lot of guys, this happens to them once they get past that 40-year-old mark.
I believe you're right.
But even guys in their 20s and 30s are experiencing
Nowadays, that's
low
right,
T
Joe.
problems. So go by Montgomery Men's Health. The providers there will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And they have low T treatments there that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, you usually even notice an increased libido. And you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. We got about a 1 minute break here. If that, be right back to all these phone calls.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
So fully remote is not about saying productivity is improved. The thought process is maybe productivity is 10% down, but costs are 50% down.
Nick Bloom has been studying work from home for 20 years, well beyond when this current phenomenon began. He's the guy across the world on the topic. Listen to What's Working Saturday noon, or find us online at whatsworkingcam.com.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet.
If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measure.
Prattville Carpet is a family-owned flooring store that prides itself on personal service, quality products, and guaranteed installation. From beautiful hardwood floors to luxurious smart strand carpet, Prattville Carpet has you covered. Call, come by, or online at prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. To do some views in the afternoon, let's go right to the phones to talk to Paul. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
What up?
What's up, man?
Show me your papers.
It's coming, Paul.
I've been seeing that at least, I know, since early 70s, late 60s. And people told me that you don't know nothing. You too young to even know anything about what's going on in the real world, much less what happened 30 years ago. I'm like, you people that are older than me lived it. Some of you was over there fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't see it here? And here I am, just getting back from them, where I should have never been and the other guys should have never been. Somebody please open my eyes or shut the door, one or the other. I don't care. Let's make it plain. And with what the gentleman was saying before, there again, I've been saying that for some time. And I was told the same thing. Shut up, sit down, mind your business.
While we get into every aspect of your business. Yeah.
Yep. But, there again, for those who read and study, you see it playing out what the scripture says right before our eyes. So, the word said it, it's going to happen. It may not happen in my lifetime, but it's coming. And it's coming a whole lot quicker than what a lot of people will open their eyes and look at and see. Later, my friends.
Later, Paul.
Later, buddy.
Let's go to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I was listening to Laura Ingraham last night, and she said, maybe this is political warfare, garbage, whatever, but she called the vice president there, Tampax Tim, I believe that's what she referred to.
I heard that this
Tampon
morning.
Tim,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what is that about?
He passed a bill, number one, free tampons in all the public schools, but tampons in the boys' bathroom because some boys menstruate.
Well, so it wasn't just political garbage. It was for real.
Yeah, that's part of the bill. Is they wanted to be respectful to transgender rights, and so let's put tampons in the boys' bathroom.
You know, he looks like an old 60. He's kind of battlefield tested. Not in Iraq, but in Minnesota. You know, he had to fight long and hard to defund the police. He had to fight long and hard for them to take down the old Columbus statue. And he had a lot of battles in Minnesota. So maybe that's why he looks so battle-tested there. But according to the veterans who served with him, he was not really liked by them.
Oh yeah, and we've got that interview coming up with a few members there, and I mean, we'll see how it shakes out. It's just at this point, I just have days where I'm like, I need to chew this up and spit this out real quick because I just can't take it. It's bad for me.
Joey, he's got to be the most liberal person, you know, other than maybe Mondale or somebody like that. One of the most liberal people ever to be selected to run for for vice president.
And it's funny, everybody was upset about, like, y'all brought a hoe to Atlanta to open up Kamala's big campaign rally there with Megan Thee Stallion. I'm like, wait. Didn't Mondale have Apollonia 6 do sex shooter at the open of one of his rallies in 1984?
So let's relate to the people, Joey.
Right, yeah. It's nothing
Especially
new.
Mondale.
It's nothing new.
Well, I was disappointed in her because I thought that being the party of diversity, is she would have the first opportunity to pick up one of the 38 members of Hispanic members of Congress as a running mate, but she went with the old white guy. But she started her career with an old guy, so I guess she's going to keep on track. Have a good day.
You too. 272-9228. This is part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. You know, talking about Pest Pro makes me happy because those are folks you can trust.
They are. They really
Those
are.
are folks
Joey.
who actually do what they say.
Yep.
They actually will get the job done no matter your pest control issue. It could be a specific job, like a fire ant outbreak or the army worms we've been talking about this week.
I saw some more Facebook posts about
It's just terrible how much they can tear up a yard.
Yeah.
Or maybe find a huge wasp nest outside. Maybe you don't go on the front porch often, and all of a sudden you're seeing wasp all the time, and there's a huge one in the corner, especially if it's a tall front porch that you can't reach without a lot. Yeah, you need to let the pros.
Yeah, you do.
Mess with that. Or it could be you're just looking for an everyday pest control company to help you across the board to make sure the house is jam up and jelly tight, as the song says. Well, that's Pest Pro Services. You can always check them out at ppsriverregion.com or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces, or you can call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Well, we're pretty much out of time for this hour.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody out there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, okay, so we'll keep going with the calls in the next hour.
Yeah.
Again, hold your horses, as my dad used to say. He would say, hold your horses, and slower than a herd of turtles. I heard that long before Kay Abbott said that.
But yeah, I just assumed you got it from Kay.
And part of me thinks this whole thing with Walz, can you imagine if Kay Ivey was picked as the VP? What would be coming out about Kay Ivey?
There'd be, I don't even want to say. It would not be pretty.
The cigarette butts.
Yeah, exactly. That would be
there'd
what
be
it
all
would
sorts of
started
stuff
with.
that comes.
Yeah.
So I got a feeling like these governors, man, it's not the same thing as it used to be with
Plus,
governors.
she's got a place on Lake Jordan. I would not appreciate the press.
No, yeah. I don't think she would either.
No, I know she wouldn't. So I'm glad she's just sticking being governor. And a good one.
Yeah, it's like Alabama took their governor and put it on the Republican ticket. It's what this is. And it's like, obviously people would be like, what the heck?
Oh, so many people. Yeah.
So how about this? Let's hit this top hour break. We'll be right back.
From the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The fourth largest fire in California history, still burning and only 34% contained. Nearly 41,000 acres have burned. Over 6,000 firefighters are enduring hot temperatures as they battle this huge arson-caused blaze. 636 structures have been destroyed by the Park Fire. Amazingly, no fatalities. Tropical Storm Debbie lingering over coastal Georgia and the Carolinas, still dumping torrential rain in places before moving north. St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell has defeated U.S. Representative Cori Bush in a Democratic primary in St. Louis. Bush, a member of the progressive congressional group known as the Squad. The Dow ahead 4 points, and the NASDAQ is up 24. This is SRN News.
Americans now have more credit card debt than at any time in history, owing a staggering $1.3 trillion collectively. What happens when most people can't pay their bills? Well, the U.S. economy is clearly moving into uncertain territory. That's why more Christians are turning to gold just for their peace of mind. I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian news analyst with a 30-year track record of predicting trends. The Bible tells us that gold is a time-tested store of value that can protect your God-given assets through almost anything, including America's historic debt bubble. And here's the good news. You can own gold through your 401k or IRA. My friends at Birch Gold Group can help you buy gold for your retirement account, tax-free and penalty-free. To learn more, text the word FAITH to 989898 for an info kit from Birch Gold that's entirely free, zero cost or obligation. Text that next step right now and take it. Text FAITH to the number 989898 for your free info kit. That's FAITH to 989898.
Rich Thomas Weather, brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. It's time to get your cooling system ready for the long, hot summer. Call today about the advantages of the Clark Club membership to be sure you're covered. Call 277-2125. Better call Clark. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. As parts of the southeastern U.S. get rainfall measured in feet, we continue on the dry side of Debbie with sunshine. Another hot day today with a high temperature near 100. Low tonight, 76. More of the same with upper 90s on Thursday and Friday. Sunshine dominates, just hot and dry, even during the weekend. Highs in the mid-90s and still dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The state of Alabama has settled a lawsuit that will allow the execution of convicted murderer Alan Miller to proceed as scheduled in September. Miller had challenged the nitrogen hypoxia method of execution, which Alabama used for the first time in January of this year. The settlement terms remain confidential. Montgomery police have launched a homicide investigation following a man's shooting death. 46-year-old Karimi Seabrooks was shot late on the night of July 1st on Town Place Drive just off Carmichael Road. Seabrooks died in a local hospital yesterday. No further information about the shooting has been released. The reward is now $5,000 for information that helped solve the murder of a Prattville teenager 1 year ago. 16-year-old Kylan Smith was shot and killed on Sunday, August 6th of last year in the 600 block of Covered Bridge Parkway. A witness spotted a male wearing all black with a black hoodie leaving the scene on foot. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your updated market report. Through 7 months of 2024, over 2,900 homes have sold and closed in the River region. The average price was $260,000, and 60% of these homes sold in 60 days or less. Since mortgage rates have dropped over a point, buyers can save thousands of dollars in payments of what it would have been just 8 weeks ago. The supply of homes has increased, giving buyers more choices than they've had all year. To identify your next home, focus on what's important to you as features that will make the move worthwhile. By getting pre-approved with a local lender, hiring the best home inspector, and most importantly, hiring an experienced buyer agent will make it all go smoothly. For a list of 17 essential buyer agent services and a list of the best lenders and local inspectors, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Sir.
Last night, Governor Walz suggested that because of your Ivy League education and your Silicon backing your political career, that you yourself are part of the elite. What are your first impressions of them trying to frame you this way to the American public?
Well, look, I came from a family where nobody in my family had ever gone to law school. I grew up in a poor family. The fact that Tim Walz wants to turn it into a bad thing, that I actually worked myself through college, through law school, and made something myself, to me, that's the American dream. And if Tim Walz wants to insult it, I think that's frankly pretty bizarre. Now, look, what really bothers me about Tim Walz, it's not even the positions that he's taken, though certainly he has been a far left radical. You know what really bothers me about Tim Walz as a Marine who served his country in uniform? When the United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with. I think it's shameful to prepare your unit to go to Iraq, to make a promise that you're going to follow through, and then to drop out right before you actually have to go. I also think it's dishonest. Something, again, if you guys ever get an opportunity to ask Tim Walz or Kamala Harris some questions, he made this interesting comment that the Kamala Harris campaign put out there, and I bet they're regretting they put it out there now, because he said that and he was making a point about gun control, he said we shouldn't allow weapons that I used in war to be on America's streets. Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war?
Right.
What was this weapon that you carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq, and he has not spent a day in a combat zone? What bothers me about Tim Walz is the stolen valor garbage. Do not pretend to be something that you're not. And if he wants to criticize me for getting an Ivy League education, I'm proud of the fact that my mamaw supported me, that I was able to make something of myself. I'd be ashamed if I was him and I lied about my military service like he did.
J.D. Vance yesterday. Responding to a question, and apparently, folks, the Tim Walz stolen valor story goes back to the very beginning of Walz's career. From the onset of his foray into national politics, Walz sold himself to the public and the media as a combat veteran of the global war on terror.
Right.
Masking the reality that he quit the military to run for office and avoid being deployed to Iraq. Thanks to some quality reporting, we know that the Minnesota governor, who yesterday officially joined the Harris campaign as the VP on the ticket, quit the military in 2005 after learning that his battalion was about to be sent to Iraq. Walz spent his entire career in the Army National Guard, learning to lead people into battle, with training and his lone 6 months overseas deployment to Italy provided at U.S. taxpayer expense. He then retired when he learned he was going to be leading people into battle in Iraq, leaving Minnesota's 125th Field Artillery Regiment high and dry for a career in politics. But that's not what Tim Walz told the public when he decided to run for public office upon abruptly leaving the military. Just months after leaving his battalion to go to Iraq without him, he announced a run for Congress, and the dissembling about his service record began immediately. Instead of being honest about his early departure from the military, Walz told the media a much more heroic tale, one that was entirely fictitious. Bloomberg's Joshua Green, then employed at The Atlantic, was the first major reporter to profile Walz. In an interview with the then congressional candidate, Green writes that in 2004, Walz left his hometown in Minnesota to serve overseas in Operation Enduring Freedom.
Trash.
It's unclear if this is Green, a veteran reporter, omitting major facts, or if Walz, the interviewer, is selling Green on a particular narrative. Nonetheless, the assertion is incredibly misleading, as it leaves the reader under the impression that Walls served as boots on the ground in the global war on terror, where in reality, he merely deployed to Italy in 2003 for a 6-month stint. Apparently, it gets worse.
Oh?
Green, the reporter, discusses a 2004 visit from former President George W. Bush to Governor Walls' hometown, in which a protesting Walls, who was still serving in the military, told the reporter about him supposedly demanding to speak to the then commander-in-chief. Walls thought for a moment and asked the Bush staffers if they really wanted to arrest a command sergeant major who just returned from fighting the war on terrorism. While the first instance can be written off as an issue of unclear reporting, the second example cannot be explained away. Walls was not just serving in a support role for the war effort from Italy, he had been fighting the war on terrorism. According to the article, Walls was picked out of relative obscurity by Democrat operatives due to his military service. These operatives went out and recruited veterans from wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. To this day, Green remains under the false impression that Walls served and fought in the war. In a piece for Bloomberg on Tuesday, he wrote that Walls served in Iraq as part of Operation Enduring Freedom. Wow. And honestly, like I opened the show with it, doing this does not give me hope for the future. It's like, oh yeah, we caught this guy in a crap lie. But it's just, man.
Well, the fact for one, that they chose him, and they know this, but the fact that everyone's not just freaking out about this, a lot of people are going to find this acceptable, and that really disturbs me.
Let's go to Joe. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Yes, I wanted to spend a moment with Carl. Carl, I'm the same age you are.
Carl?
And yes, the former caller that just called in. I'm the same age you are. I've seen and done
Paul
what you've been through also. The 60s and 70s. We've seen all this. We've seen what this godless, satanic, one-world socialist government has done to this world and to our United States. Keep telling the people.
Yeah.
Fight on, brother. God bless you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Joe.
Again, 272-9228. And, we got plenty more clips to go to. There's a lot out there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. Again, that's, I think, the reason for my mood today. It's just you consume this and you're like, my God. So here's Kamala last night. Think of the story we just shared. Here's Kamala last night talking about her new running mate, putting him up against J.D. Vance.
Oh, okay.
Through his work, Tim, the way I think about it, he really does shine a light on a
It sounds like she's doing a half-hearted Jay Leno impersonation.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this?
The only light I see is the reflection off that 5 hit he's got.
that we can build together. In his state, he has been a model chief executive, and with his experience, I'm telling you, Tim Walz will be ready on day one. In fact, when you compare his resume shall we?
Please.
Go for it.
To Trump's running mate. Well, some might say it's like a matchup between the varsity team and the JV squad.
Keep in mind what we just told you. Quote, as soon as the shots were fired in Iraq, he turned and ran the other way and hung his hat up and quit, said Tom Behrens, a retired command sergeant major who replaced Tim Walz on a deployment to Iraq. So go ahead. Compare resumes. It's like the varsity team and the JV. Absolutely ridiculous. But we shall see where this goes. 272-9228. Actually, I feel like instead of going to the phones, continuing on this. Because here's the story. It's making the rounds. Let's watch and listen together.
The public needs to know how pathetic his leadership was as a National Guardsman.
On a 150-year-old farm in Brewster, Tom Behrens hopes his tell-it-like-it-is style will finally get the attention he believes it deserves in Minnesota's race for governor. In a way, he's back again to wage a public war of words against Tim Walz.
He abandoned us. I mean, what the hell kind of leader does that? I mean, he just, as soon as the shots were fired in Iraq, he turned and ran the other way and hung his hat up and quit.
We'll get to Barron's new message for voters in a moment. But this all starts years earlier when Barron says Walz's misleading statements about his military service first led him to come forward in the fall of 2018.
And again, this was, I guess, during the gubernatorial cycle up there in Minnesota. So this is not something produced as oppo for Trump or anybody. This was just a report done around that time.
So you try to get this message out, but Minnesota's largest newspaper checks it out, says it's 100% true, but yet refuses to print.
When I hung the phone up, I said, what the hell is this, North Korea?
Back in 2005, a warning order went out to the 1st Battalion, 125th Field Artillery to mobilize for a mission to Iraq. At the time, Walz served as the unit's highest non-commissioned officer, but months later, Walz would retire from the Guard, avoid the deployment, and run for Congress. Tom Behrens was next in line for the position and was asked to take his place.
I was like, well, for Pete's sake, this guy quit. And if I say I'm not going to do it, I mean, what the hell kind of leadership is that? If a company would say that we're going to deploy to Iraq or somewhere and you're going to be gone for whatever amount of time, and then the foreman just says, no, I'm not going. I mean, what does that say to the 500 people that work in that factory?
Behrens would go on to serve in Iraq on a nearly 2-year deployment as a command sergeant major. All while Walz began using that title as a congressman. Behrens says he first contacted Walz with his concerns, sending these letters to Washington. They all went unanswered. But then we fast forward to the election in 2018 in Minnesota, and you try at that time to get people's attention with this story and also with what seems to be a very misleading statement that he continued to make about his service.
It kind of just sat there. When he was a congressman, he bragged that he was a command sergeant, retired command sergeant major. I'm the highest ranking person ever in the House, and all this lie that he was telling. The state of Minnesota came out after 2018, after this was exposed, and they said, well, he can say that he served as a command sergeant major, but he can't say he's a retired one because he's not.
And that's what he was saying.
And he was saying that, and there was lots of public, lots of cards coming in the mail, for him to be elected. They said right on there he's a retired command sergeant major, just tooting his own horn, just hanging on the coattails of people that actually are command sergeant majors that went through all the process and put all the time in.
A spokesperson for the Minnesota National Guard said Walz wasn't able to retire as a command sergeant major since he failed to complete coursework and requirements related to the rank. Verified documents show the Army corrected his service record. Walz was reduced in rank to an E8 Master Sergeant after retirement and his conditional promotion. Alpha News again asked Governor Walz if he's using the Command Sergeant Major rank on his campaign website for political gain this year. A spokesperson said this has been in the news before and pointed us to a past story where Walz said, quote, normally this type of partisan political attack only comes from one who's never worn a uniform.
It's stolen valor is really what it is. I don't know of anybody else that's done what he's done. But we called it the truth about Tim Walz.
In 2018, Behrens gave the story the full court press.
We, retired command sergeant majors of the Minnesota National Guard, feel it is our duty and responsibility to bring forth the truth as we know it concerning his service record. I put together information on it and I sent it out to every single radio station and newspaper and TV station I could in the state. The bottom line in all of this is gut-wrenching and sad to explain. When the nation called, he quit.
Twin Cities TV stations and the Star Tribune were silent, even after Barron says the newspaper checked it all out. The Star Tribune endorsed Walz in 2018 for governor. Between lockdowns, riots, unchecked crime, and a charred police precinct, Barron's felt he had no choice but again to come forward.
Allowing that to be burned down was just like having the Alamo get burned down. It's like, no, you defend that to the last man. You know, if he would have went to Iraq, he'd still be hiding under his desk over there. Because that's just, just the cowardice that I seen portrayed with him.
So how about when he also comes out and he calls you guys 19-year-old cooks?
I'd take any 19-year-old cook before I'd go to war with him. I don't know how he could even utter such a statement. I mean, it's just absolutely sad.
So this election year, it's all built up again to Barron's new grain bin message.
He called Jacob Fry an abject failure. So I was like, that's what he is.
Walz is a traitor, also made a return.
And the last one I put together, he said it himself too, as well. If they don't like my job, they can vote me out. So I wrote, we got to vote him out. We need to vote him out.
And again, it would be like if, I'm not accusing our current governor of anything that bad, damn. But it'd be like if somebody was trying to really take on Kay Ivey. Mm-hmm. Like, do you really have if you have no money, if you're just a random citizen, do you really have the ability to take on somebody who's been known in the political world forever, who knows the media outlet?
Nope.
And then you add to it that this is now a blue state, Democrat country, excuse me. Daggone. I wonder how many millions and millions of views are going to be added to that video.
Well, do you think he would ever make, just on that right there, do you think that he would ever make governor here in Alabama?
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
272-9228. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this? Hello, anybody there? Anybody at all? All right. Call back. Line 1, you're on there. Who's this?
This is Robert. You got me?
Hey, Robert, what's up?
Hey, brother. I heard about the master sergeants. I just want to throw my 2 cents in from. I got this big bucket of pennies. I just want to give in my 2 cents. And you can take it and shred it, what have you. But I served 4 years active in the military. Was no war. But my granddaddy served in World War II at the same age I joined the military, 18, right? And he was selected, and he turned it into a career, and he retired as a senior master sergeant in what was newly formed as the Air Force. In other words, because when he was selected, he even told me the story when he was just picked out of a group of guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
A general come by, him, whatever. I don't know but anyway, and that's my tip of the hat to my granddaddy, who is dead now. He lived to 95.
Mm.
And I say, this is the other thing I say, we do need the National Reserve. We do need the National Guard and the Reserve, but it's different. If you're in full time, you call for help. You didn't leave. Well, you don't leave when your unit is called up. Yeah. You've trained together all these many years, and you don't leave. And y'all are breaking up on my end, but that's just fine. I just wanted to say what I wanted to say.
Well, thank you, Robert. Appreciate the call, man.
Thanks, Robert.
272-9228. And the senator from Minnesota, I believe her name is Tina Smith. She had this to say is, J.D. Vance, of course, brought up the Slim Valley plan. Mm-hmm. And so Smith. It lay out like, well, what is Vance even talking about? I don't even know what Vance is even going on about. Like, what service did he ever provide?
Perhaps he's unfamiliar.
I guess they're getting the same notes as Kamala and them speechwriters saying, with the JV team.
Tim Walz, who enlisted when he was 17 years old. He served in the National Guard for 24 years. And I'm not aware of any military service that J.D. Vance has ever served. So let's just make the comparison there.
What a maroon. And the guy didn't correct her because I know he
Yeah,
knows.
Jim Acosta's just sitting there like, well,
He knows.
I'm not aware.
And what happened
Does he
in the
correct him?
tragedy of the killing of George Floyd.
Okay.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, okay. Pardon me for that.
It's gracious. Yeah. And this is just another example of why I get in those moods I'm in today.
Okay.
Is everything can be perverted and made a function of politics.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not about the service itself. She thought, well, we got a slam dunk in terms of identity. This guy signed up, even listed at 17 and all this stuff. And what did J.D. Vance ever do? Thinking it's like, oh, this is a great cudgel. Hit him over the head. It's like, yeah, he served all that time, and then he left, as we just told the story, and started describing his service at the end there in a way that just wasn't true. So it's not about the service itself. It becomes this political cudgel / calling card to make yourself look good. Again, everything becomes about how do I present myself to the easily manipulated, gullible masses.
I just wish he would have taken the opportunity to clear up the story with her and said, "Do you understand that, he bailed out early when his troops went to war, was J.D. Vance stood there like a man." Maybe she needs that clarification.
But it's not just, it's your military service, but it's also every aspect of identity. It's just, let's throw it into the political hopper, see what actually impresses the folks out there. Just disgusting and gross. And the more we rely on this system, the less we're going to get.
Oh, yeah. Less quality.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the trend, like from two callers today saying, I saw this in the 60s.
Yeah.
I'd believe them. It's only gotten worse.
Right.
Let's go to Duke. Hey, Duke, how
What's
you
up,
doing?
Duke? Oh, man, you hell sure sitting here listening to all this stuff you playing to me. I mean, you trying to depress the hell out of me, look like. What? Man.
Yeah, well, I don't. You can say whatever you want, but you cannot bring up what happened yesterday.
I'm not. But I want.
And he told me you wanted to. You cannot.
I was waiting for him to go, all right, well, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow then.
You're worse than Tim Walz.
But hey, George, I got to address a little something over with that the other bit. So.
No, I don't. I'm tired of this.
I'm serious, though. I'm serious. I'm not going to be ugly, okay? But first of all, how you doing, sir?
I'm all right, I guess. I'm in a crappy mood right now.
Okay. It's something I gave me some thought about last night, actually. I thought about Jack Campbell, actually, when I was reminiscing about when I first came on the airwaves. And something that stuck with me about Mr. Jack Campbell, he told me, said, "Duke, I love your cause." He said, "You make me think." And that meant a lot to me that, I stepped on the scene on this conservative talk show, which I've been listening to talk shows forever. Hell, I've been listening to talk shows since 1986. Rush Limbaugh, Savage, Hannity, and all those people, and Neil Boyce and all these guys. And I always love politics. I love debates. I love challenge situations, okay? So that's really where I am with this show, And I met you guys and enjoy the hell out of this show. But here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to get personal with, the callers, okay? I challenge the hell out of them. I challenge I call Papa B them out sometimes. I call all these guys out over the period of time since I've been calling the airways. I call you out and debate what you said. And that's as far as I go. Okay? Not one time has the Duke came on the airways and said that this station belongs to certain folks. You shouldn't call it anymore because this is our stuff. You know, and I'm not down with that right there. And I want to say to you, Miss Sweet D, I want to say something to you, ma'am. I'm not on here to please you or no other caller, okay? I only participate in the show. If you got something that I said that you don't like, challenge me or debate me about it, okay? Don't go try to pimp me off. Don't go try to pimp me off to Greg, because it's not about Greg.
You still talking
It's not
about this?
about
I
Greg.
thought I said you can't talk about yesterday. You say nice things about Jack Campbell and the show, and then you sneak into talking about yesterday. I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood today.
I'm trying to get to a point on what I'm trying to make.
Just get there. Get there.
From this day forward.
Spit it out.
Joe, you're making me laugh now. You're making me laugh a little bit because I like when you throw that high pitch in your voice. But my point is, I got respect for Mr. Greg and his show. So this doesn't have anything to do with Greg. So don't handle your own deal, Miss Sweet D. Talk to me on your own. Don't let go running for help. Let Greg try to help you out. You can't pimp me for $100. I'm sorry. I'm a high price whore. But anyway.
And on that note, I appreciate the call.
All right, appreciate it.
See you, Duke.
272-9228. So did you just send me something that folks were celebrating the riverfront brawl or something?
I didn't get to finish the article, but I thought it was interesting that there was a group that was celebrating the 1-year anniversary.
A group called Feminine Flow Experience.
That's got my attention right there. That's what caught my attention.
Some reason I'm reminded again, like I was reminded yesterday, of checking the pH in the hot tub.
Uh-huh.
They organized an event to remember the first anniversary of the Montgomery Riverfront Brawl. Late yesterday afternoon, they gathered at the Court Square Fountain for prayer before walking to the beat of a drum down Commerce Street to the banks of the Alabama River, where they dropped roses into the water before gathering into what they called a gratitude circle.
Okay.
Members of Feminine Flow Experience tied the fight to Montgomery's history of slavery,
I thought we were talking about the riverboat.
saying Commerce Street was used to transport cotton before slavery was abolished and served as the path former enslaved Africans walked to the auction house. They said their walk served as a remembrance of the pain and violence, but also for the healing that they say allows the world to move compassionately towards change. Okay. I'd love for us to move compassionately towards change, but I got a feeling that, no, we're going to be stuck in the past. You know, and that actually sets me up perfectly, Eddie.
I did not mean to go in all that. I just thought it was humorous.
Well, the Feminine Flow Experience.
Yeah, that's what got my attention.
A circle of gratitude, huh? Well, this is a clip I ran across. It's a piece by John Stossel.
Ah, John Stossel.
Mm-hmm.
48 hours, 2020.
And it's called The Reality of Slavery in America versus Everywhere Else.
Oh.
So some drunk idiots don't get out of the damn way of the riverboat. And this is now somehow tied into the story, the unique.
There's people that want to do that.
Unique evil. It wasn't just evil that it's always existed amongst men. In every culture around the world, we got to tie it always back to that.
Yeah.
By the way, if I'm about to upset, like throw doo-doo in your sacred chamber, stop listening. But sorry. We'll get to that in a second. First, this part of the program brought to you by Clearwater's Property Management. And you know what they do?
I do know what they do, Joey, because I might be having to give them a call. The last storm we had, I've got a leaner. I've got a tree that's leaning.
A tree that's leaning?
I've got a leaner, yeah. And I don't think it'll hit my house, but I'm tired of looking at it.
Right.
I'm tired of being concerned about it.
Right.
Because what if I forget and I park my truck underneath it one day?
And storm rolls through and your
Right.
truck gets crushed.
Right. Who's the fool? That'd be me because I got a leaner. So, yeah, they take care of trees like that. Or if you've got some trees that just unsightly, maybe they're dying, that, they come out and take them down. Or the worst, and I see this in a lot of neighborhoods, are the stumps.
Yeah.
You just have a big old stump in your front yard. Just attracting bugs. And the bugs will attract, of course, more bugs, and you'll get termites, the whole 9 yards. Why would you do that? And there's a company that'll come out there and take care of that for you.
Exactly. So whether it's tree removal, tree trimming, or stump grinding, Clearwater's Property Management has your back. Give them a call today at 430-0376. That's 430-0376. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. I actually do need to hit a quick break, and we'll come back with this Stossel piece. Because I didn't realize that that's like, it's just all one continuum of a grand, unique story.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contract. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. As parts of the southeastern U.S. gets rainfall measured in feet, we continue on the dry side of Debbie with sunshine. Another hot day today with a high temperature near 100. Low tonight, 76. More of the same with upper 90s on Thursday and Friday. Sunshine dominates, just hot and dry. And even during the weekend, highs in the mid-90s and still dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
The River Region's News Talk station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. So, again, members of Feminine Flow Experience tied the River Brawl fight, to Montgomery's history of slavery, saying Commerce Street was used to transport cotton before slavery was abolished and served as the path former enslaved Africans walked to the auction house. They said their walk served as a remembrance of the pain and violence, but also for the healing that they say allows the world to move compassionately towards change. By the way, if you want the pain to heal, stop ripping at the scabs. But here, let's demystify this a little bit.
All right.
It's a John Stossel piece with a guy named Wilfred Riley I've been following for years. And it starts with a montage, beginning with Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. Is he still the president?
I think he locked in his basement to the end, but technically, yes.
Here we go.
Sin of slavery.
The original sin of slavery.
Today, Americans are taught when it comes to slavery, America was the worst.
The Atlantic slave trade from Africa to the Americas was different from any other type of slavery.
The United States didn't inherit slavery from anybody. We created it.
American slavery was worse because
the slaves were reduced to property. They were chattel property. Right. No other system of slavery did that except American slavery.
That's complete nonsense.
Wilfred Riley is a political science professor and author of Lies My Liberal Teacher Told Me.
Generational slavery, like if you're the son of a slave, you're a slave. That was extraordinarily common. Slavery around the world was slavery.
Books like this, Unfinished Nation.
Yeah.
Slaves in Africa were kept unfree only for a fixed term.
No, is the short answer. Most of the slaves taken by these sort of players would be either kept as slaves for their entire life or, more likely, sold to the whites and the Arabs in 2 years.
Today, partly thanks to the New York Times 1619 Project, students are taught that America's slavery was unlike anything that existed before.
We're the worst society ever. We've done things that no one else has ever done. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with acknowledging your historical mistakes. I mean, I'm Black, Irish, a bit Native American, at least per the family lore. I mean, those are three peoples that have experienced a great deal historically. Nothing wrong with acknowledging that.
True.
But it's extremely odd to focus only on the negatives of your society and to exaggerate those.
Americans are taught that slavers caught people in Africa and shipped them here. But few are taught that most slaves were not shipped to the United States.
Between 10.7 million and 12 million slaves from Africa went to the New World. We got a little under 400,000.
Under 400,000 out of 10 million.
The extreme focus on slavery in the United States, why did that happen? One reason is that a lot of Black people survived here. Slavery was harsh, but it's a lot less harsh than clearing the Brazilian jungle.
All right, but American Blacks are at a disadvantage. They have less capital. Financial and educational capital. What's the harm in pointing out how abusive white people were?
The harm is that pointing out how abusive white people were is not going to get Black Americans any more capital. Most of the problems of the modern Black community don't have anything to do with historical ethnic conflict 160 years ago.
The Great Society asked not how much,
LBJ.
but how good.
Riley says most of the problems began when welfare began.
Crime in the Black community, every time I've tried to break this out, increased about 800% between, say, 1963 and 1993. Racism didn't increase between 1960 and the modern era. You're looking at the impacts of the Great Society, the welfare programs.
Riley argues it's better to teach the truth, that almost every society had slavery. The Aztecs, the Persians, Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, Vikings, and most of all, the Arab world.
Oh, yeah. The Arabs were probably history's premier slave traders.
Sometimes they captured poor whites from Slavic countries.
The Muslims, many of whom were dark-skinned or even black, took so many blonde slaves out of this region that they gave the word slave to the global slave population.
Many slaves were forced into harems.
Sexual slavery was very much a part of slavery. Like if your group was defeated in war, the men would probably just be killed or they'd be sold as farmhands. The women would often be sold as harem girls or prostitutes.
More than 1 million Europeans were enslaved, but Muslim slave traders took more people from Africa.
The Arabs targeting Africa took out about 17 million people.
The British and then the Americans were the rare people who moved to abolish slavery.
So yeah, the British Navy, in a story almost no one now knows, sank something like 1,600 slave ships. It freed 150,000 people that were enslaved at the time.
Because the Brits objected for moral reasons.
Yeah, they'd had enough of it.
Saudi Arabia only abolished the slave trade relatively recently.
Well, that's another inconvenient fact, right?
The Global Slavery Index estimates that even now, although slavery is officially illegal, there are more than 700,000 slaves in Saudi Arabia.
Where there were no Westerners, you'd have a lot of slavery for a long time. and you do.
American slavery was horrible, but it wasn't unique. Our culture would be healthier if we learned about that. And schools dwelling on America's evils hasn't helped Americans get over them. Gallup polls show that after schools started focusing on oppression, race relations got worse.
The idea of generational slavery, the idea of slave trading, none of that was unique to America. And another thing, you don't need radicalism to critique the worst excesses of an existing system.
Right.
All you need is incrementalism and honesty.
Yep.
In a few weeks, I'll post a video about another of Riley's myths, the claim that before Columbus, the native people were kind stewards of the environment.
Ooh. I kind of want to invite Wilford Riley onto this show.
Oh, yeah?
Because the guy, he's so good on so many things, and his main focus, how he breaks things down, is more statistical analysis.
Yeah.
So he's a very much a numbers-driven guy. I think he's in Kentucky at a historically black college. He's a professor there. And so, yeah, I think he's not somebody who's just going to, like, I follow him on Twitter. He kind of jousts with everybody on the right, the left, but he wants to come back to, as he said, sort of moderate, incremental, just honest truth-telling.
I'd love that.
And he's been great on the crime issue that we've seen over the years. Really good on that. And he just, I like the guy. I like the way he attacks ideas and problems, tries to understand the world. But, you know, that caught my interest. And just seeing that, what that stupid riverfront brawl had to do with anything other than, I mean, I guess the memes were glorious. It's an internet
The memes
thing.
were funny, but I mean, I don't care what color you are. A jerk's a jerk is a jerk. It's just period.
Yeah.
And honestly, it looks like some jerks got what they deserved that day.
Right.
But I don't see it as this racial thing that a lot of people want it to be.
Well, that's because you're white.
No, it's because I was in Jamaica. And I showed several other people around the resort. And
we
they
start
like,
calling you Tom Cruise.
They're like, "You're from there?"
You know why I'm going to call you Tom Cruise?
Why is that?
Because you're white.
I do have that going on.
That's what I was told when I was working Parks and Rec. This part of the program brought to you by All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. Hey, Tom Cruise! And they're at All Pro. Actually, I kind of miss those guys. Good dudes. At All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. Located there in Tallahassee, Alabama, they're serving the entire river region and surrounding areas. Let them be your one-stop shop for all HVAC and electrical needs, whether you're just looking for a checkup on that HVAC system or your electrical system, or you're looking to, say, upgrade. It could be, what's the average time in a house, would you say, Eddie, that it's time to really start looking at a new HVAC system?
Well, they'll tell you when you buy one, it's good for 20 years, but about the 10 to 12 year mark is when you start shopping.
Right.
And that's when you start getting worried, because that's when it can go out in a catastrophic kind of way.
Right. Or it could be you just need to upgrade a part or just replenish a part. Basic maintenance can make it last probably that 20 years.
It will. That's exactly what it takes.
But if you don't do that,
then
it's
you
going to
might
crap
get
out
10 years out of it. Yeah.
And then, of course, when it comes to your electrical system, always good to be on top of it. But especially if you're worried about storms rolling through and losing power, especially if you're in a rural area where it takes a while. We saw some of those nasty tornadoes last year. And it looked like a bomb went off in certain areas. And it took a long time, God love them, for Alabama Power to get the power back on. If you need that power for work reasons or just staying safe, or it could be you're relying on certain medical devices, they can install, All Pro can install a Generac generator. So check them out today. You can always go to allproheatingair.com or give them a call at 301-1961. That's 301-1961. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Jean.
Hey, Jean. How are you?
Fine. How's Miss Lucy?
Oh, she's as adorable as ever. In fact, she's getting cuter the older she gets.
Is she?
Yeah, yeah.
What color's her hair?
It's kind of a golden brownish sort of thing going on. It's kind of like her mama's.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to call and check on her.
Yeah, she's got enough now where it's put in a little ponytail.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, okay. You be safe, and I love you.
Love you too, Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
272-9228. Let's hit the break. Come back, hopefully with Michael Cohen on the other side.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hart?
Yeah?
I've been thinking, I'm tired of this house.
What? You want to move?
Yeah, but we'd have to do some updating, to get top dollar.
Updating really does make a lot of sense, especially when you're talking about lighting. That's where Crosby Electric comes in. They'll help you choose a stunning pendant fixture over your bathroom sink, dramatic flush mount lighting over your kitchen island, maybe some LED panels to backlight your countertops. Energy-saving LED lighting has really come down in price. Or how about a new ceiling fan that moves air more efficiently than fans built only 10 years ago? The bottom line, updating your lighting almost always delivers a full return on your investment.
Well, sweetheart, the house looks fabulous.
Yeah.
Guess I'll put out the for sale sign.
Wait.
What?
I don't wanna move.
Find out how to turn your house into the home you'll never want to leave. Visit crosbyelectric.com or call 272-2085.
No one wants to wait on service for an overhead door. With 20 years in the industry, you now have access to the best with All Access Overhead Door. All Access Overhead Doors offers prompt professional service at affordable prices on all service and new garage doors for residential and commercial locations. All Access Overhead Door serves the river region and can take care of whatever you need when it comes to your overhead door. Remember, you have access to the best. All Access Overhead Door. Call and schedule an appointment today. 320-2440. And like them on Facebook. They sell the best and service the rest.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. We're calling this thing online Joey Clark Live. Eddie, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Joey?
I need to apologize for my outburst, but I had to unload. It's like all this negative bomb needs to explode.
Woke up last couple days triggered.
Yeah.
Don't watch that kind of stuff before you go to bed.
I think I need to get some.
Well, Joey.
Because I'm doing everything else. I'm exercising. I'm eating better.
Yeah.
I'm spending time with family members.
Well, you're going to have to leave the house, for one. Let's just start with that. And then we're done. Then we're done.
Yeah, I always wondered, why are these like the myths of like the sirens and the succubi and all that stuff? It's like, oh yeah, because if you go on an adventure, that might happen. Let's go to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Not as good as you.
Oh, goodness gracious.
You got that need list, that want list. It looks like they're a little blurred there. They're the same list.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm just trying to pinpoint where this all this dark energies come from. Anyway, I heard a little off air, but it's good to remind folks because we talk about all these great products you have there at Cohen's, whether on the appliance side or the electronic side. Y'all have financing options, right?
That's right. We have a couple of different financing ways, and typically we try to be upfront with the customer, and we ask them what kind of credit they think they have. If they think they have good credit, we can take them to Synchrony or Wells Fargo, and if they don't, we have a different party that will do that type of financing. So, everybody, we don't want to waste anybody's time. We want to try to make everything as easy as possible, and no sense in getting turned down when you don't need to be turned down. So, that's the other part of the equation. We had a nice lady in here yesterday that got a dryer and a washer from me made by Maytag. She financed it, and, we got her approved in minutes for a washer and dryer, and she was in and out in no time.
Good deal.
We're delivering it today, so
next day delivery. That's all right.
Yeah. I mean, everything works out great. She was local, and we could get there and get her taken care of. So, but financing is important. Even if you have the money, if you can get 6 months free interest financing, it's kind of crazy not to take advantage of that.
Exactly.
It's all a cash flow game.
Yep.
And I've been through the process myself, and I think we went through Wells Fargo, and it worked beautifully. Very straightforward system, and still very happy with my TV there.
And that way you don't spend all your money, and you still have money to go out and date.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the other problem Joey
true.
has.
That's true.
The dating and.
Do we need to get a GoFundMe up for him for dates?
No, because he would take the money, but he still wouldn't go on a date. He'd go on a date with himself. That's what he would do.
Well,
Yeah.
that way he doesn't get let down.
Yeah.
No, that would be the ultimate letdown.
You wouldn't even show up for your own date.
Dadgummit, I thought I was at the top of Everest, but really I'm at like sea level. Dadgummit. That happened fast.
Yep.
So y'all check out Cohen's today, especially if you're looking for great appliances, great electronics, like we just went through. They got awesome financing options. You can always go to thinkcohens.com, but I really encourage you to stop by the Boulevard, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael, one of the great team members there, and say, hey, I heard Michael on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
Fantastic. Thank y'all. Have a great day.
You
Appreciate
too, buddy.
it,
See you, Michael.
272-9228. Yeah, it's not really a money thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more like the older I get, the pickier I become, and like the more downside. I just see the downside.
There is a lot of downside.
There's a lot of it.
But there's a lot of upside too.
Sure. You got a risk for reward, right?
Right.
Sure.
Right. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? You go on a date. Someone shows up. You have a good conversation, good dinner, but you're just not into each other. You might make a friend. What's the worst that could happen, Joe?
Well, it's like Achilles. Like, he could have just gone on and had a great family and wonderful life, but no, he wanted people to remember his name.
And
he slept with some priestess of Apollo, and then he got shot through the Achilles heel.
See, we ain't got to worry about that with Joey. We know that's not going to happen.
I think that's where he got his name from, the term about a heel. 272-9228. If you want to get in on what?
Somebody says you're going to end up like Tim Scott.
Oh, Lord. What does that even mean?
Lonely.
Oh. Wait, you think that's... I thought Tim was happily married.
He might be, but, a lot of people put that pretend on.
Oh, yeah. Like, seriously. The interaction between Walls and his wife... I'm like, that's just bizarre.
It's weird.
Why would you reach out to, like, the wife had to initiate the hug because he just reached out his hand to shake her hand. I'm like, what is this?
It was like it was predetermined by attorneys. This is how you will greet each other in public.
Odd. And then him and Doug were like grabbing each other and stuff. Like,
see, yeah. Hey, when we're in TSA line and everybody wanting to be serious, and somebody hears a big pop, and then Susanna's face is red, it's because I smacked her in the butt in front of everybody. Good times.
So a Swede, a Jew, a black, and an Indian walk into a bar. Wait, oh no, that was just. And suddenly she became a black person. Like, oh, good God, Trump is Trump's always going to be Trump.
Oh, no doubt.
I wouldn't have said that, but that's the one thing I do appreciate about the guy. You've ever heard him like truly be something other than who he is?
There's not very many times I've even heard him. And I go, oh, I haven't seen that side.
Like, he's in the heat and humidity of Alabama, and he's still wearing the same suit, talking the same way with that Queen's accent.
He even makes fun of his own hair, which we all know is funny, but I didn't know that he could make fun of it.
I just worry, even if he gets back in there, man, like, the same tricks, maybe worse tricks will be played. You know what I mean?
Worse. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But I think worse tricks.
We got to hit this top of the hour break. Y'all stay tuned.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Palestinian terrorist group Hamas says it has chosen Yahya Sinwar, its top official in Gaza, who masterminded the October 7th attacks in Israel, as its new leader. He replaces Ismail Haniyeh, who was killed in Iran last week in a presumed Israeli strike. A Texas man described as intellectually disabled by his lawyers is facing execution for killing a woman jogging near her Houston home more than 27 years ago. Arthur Lee Burton is facing lethal injection this evening at the state penitentiary in Huntsville. CVS Health has cut its 2024 forecast for a third time as the healthcare giant continues to struggle with high utilization in its health insurance business. Stocks are lower. The Dow is down 175 points. This is SRN News.
Americans now have more credit card debt than at any time in history, owing a staggering $1.3 trillion collectively. What happens when most people can't pay their bills? Well, the U.S. economy is clearly moving into uncertain territory. That's why more Christians are turning to gold just for their peace of mind. I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian news analyst with a 30-year track record of predicting trends. The Bible tells us that gold is a time-tested store of value that can protect your God-given assets through almost anything, including America's historic debt bubble. And here's the good news. You can own gold for your 401k or IRA. My friends at Birch Gold Group can help you buy gold for your retirement account, tax-free and penalty-free. To learn more, text the word FAITH to 989898 for an info kit from Birch Gold that's entirely free, zero cost or obligation. Text that next step right now and take it. Text FAITH to the number 989898 for your free info kit. That's FAITH to 989898.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. As parts of the southeastern U.S. gets rainfall measured in feet, we continue on the dry side of Debbie with sunshine. Another hot day today with a high temperature near 100. Low tonight, 76. More of the same with upper 90s on Thursday and Friday. Sunshine dominates, just hot and dry. Even during the weekend, highs in the mid-90s and still dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Wet Bobo with Capital Tractor. Soon we'll be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. During our big moving sale, get a great deal on a Kubota with 0% APR up to 84 months with approved credit. Now through September 30th, 2024. See Capital Tractor in Montgomery or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
1819 News.
Both of Alabama's U.S. senators are joining 21 other senators in urging action from the National Collegiate Athletic Association, also known as the NCAA. A letter was sent out by these senators to the NCAA president, Charlie Baker, regarding a policy on biological females in sports programs. The senators are urging Baker to fight against the assault on Title IX legislation that's coming from the Biden administration, which is seeking to allow for males claiming to be transgender to compete against biological females. Senators point out that the NCAA has not taken steps to protect biological female athletes. Despite the undeniable scientific differences between men and women, Tuberville and Britt say that the bedrock of sports competition is an even playing field. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
The head football coach for Hoover High School, Drew Gilmer, has now been placed on administrative leave following conduct that is under investigation by school officials. The team defensive coordinator, Adam Helms, has also been placed on administrative leave. School officials did not confirm or deny if this latest decision from them is a result of a video circulating on social media that shows two coaches running to the field after a play was made and ripping a player's helmet off. Gilmer became the Hoover football coach this past January after coaching at Clay Chalkville High School. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Elevate your home with the timeless elegance of Cabinet Renovations LLC. For over 40 years, Eddie Basham has been Montgomery's trusted name in kitchen and bathroom cabinet makeovers. From classic designs to modern updates, they craft beautiful cabinets and countertops to fit your style. And with up to 18 months interest-free financing, it's easier than ever to get started. Contact them today at 334-279-7152 or visit CabinetRenovationsLLC.com. Cabinet Renovations LLC, where your home's new look begins.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. So joining us now, we're working around her schedule. She's got a lot of stuff going on. We have Erica Thomas, editor at large there at 1819 News. Erica, how you doing?
Howdy, Joey. I'm doing good. Just very, very busy, like you said. I got all kinds of events going on this week here in Baldwin County and Mobile, the Mobile area as well. But right now we've got some crazy stuff that's like really blowing up on my subdivision's Facebook page. And I just have got to talk to you about it because I think it's something your viewers are going to really react to.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so we're in a presidential election year, and, you know, it's really heating up now that Harris has announced that Walz will be her running mate. I've been watching all that on TV. Just the contradictions being made are mind-blowing. But so we have several homes here in my subdivision which has an HOA, which I have a love-hate relationship for. I really don't like it very much, but then again, I'm very thankful that, you know, my neighbors aren't going to trash the subdivision and make my property value go down, because I have had a situation where I didn't live in an HOA and then I had things out of control next door.
Mm-hmm.
That's an understatement, probably. But so it's fine. I knew when I moved here I was going to have an HOA. I knew the rules. I followed the rules. I've never had a violation. But now that we're in this presidential election year, we have some people that have put signs up in their yards for, you know, whatever candidate they may support. And I will say the only signs I've seen in my subdivision are Trump signs. Well, some people have gotten violations and some haven't. Some have gotten warnings around here about you need to take your sign down. So I just thought this is about to blow up so bad because you just wouldn't believe the reactions people are getting. And I looked up our covenant and it says all signs in the subdivision shall be subject to ACC approval. And that's the HOA committee. And it says, no sign of any kind which exceeds 5 square feet in size shall be placed on any lot and displayed to the public, except signs to advertise a home for sale or builder's signs during construction. So the problem here is there have been signs for rent signs in this subdivision. That's not allowed. There have been War Eagle signs. I know of one for sure. LSU signs.
Oh, that's disgusting.
People put up signs for Mardi Gras, you know, and nothing's ever been said. But as soon as a Trump sign gets put in the yard, gotcha.
So is it some childless cat lady Karen, or what's going on with this?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. We have had the HOA cars driving around a lot more than we're used to seeing lately, and people are getting violations for all kinds of stuff
Oh,
and
yeah.
warning. And I think it's more than it's ever been before, to be honest. So I don't know if it was them that drove around and saw it, but the issue here is, why do some people get to have signs up, but some don't? You either follow the rules or you don't.
Abusing discretion. Gotta love that. No, I wonder what happens if, like, say, if it's a lot of folks say we're not complying.
Yeah, you can be fined. You know, they can end up putting a lien on your property. So I would probably follow the rules. But I think if you had, like, if you actually took it, you know, to court and you had proof that there's all these other people with signs in their yard and they didn't get, you know, in trouble, I think you would actually have a case.
Well, I hate that's going on because it's just I've never experienced that. I've never experienced the HOA dealing with those types of things. So, and I'm also not a political yard sign guy. I just don't have the rah-rah in me. Maybe a War Eagle sign, though. Sure.
Yeah. Well, we have here. It might be taken down soon, so if I see it on Marketplace, I'll let you know. But we can have our flags here, so anybody that's dealing within their HOA, just remember most HOAs do allow you to fly flags, so you can go that route, and that's how this one is. A lot of people are saying, well, you know, just get the flag and do that. I prefer my American flag, but I also have an Alabama flag that I love.
Probably against HOA.
Well, my Alabama flag probably really is. Wouldn't make everybody super happy, but I have my United States flag up right now. It's brand new and crisp and beautiful and bright.
Beautiful flag.
It just looks amazing. It really is the most beautiful flag.
Well, I hate that's going on, but fly the flag proudly. And I've been looking at other stories you've been working up. One that went quite viral. Disturbing headline, though. Men accused of using ice cream cones to lure girls in a Coleman Park. Huh?
Yes. Thankfully, no one was actually kidnapped in this case, but this is a classic, you know, I've got candy little girl trick that you know, offenders and predators have used for decades. It's the one that we were always taught, don't talk to strangers for. And I have to say, too, these two men that were arrested, they're innocent until proven guilty, but this happened in the Sportsman Lake Park in Coleman, and just happened to be there at the same time, Assistant District Attorney Nate Brock. He was in the park when this happened. So these guys were arrested pretty quickly and charged with second-degree attempted kidnapping. And it was just so scary to hear that one of the guys went and purchased ice cream cones, and then he even went as far, allegedly, as going into the bathroom and approaching little girls as young as 5 years old and trying to get them to go into his vehicle.
Well, that's and just from the look of them, you're right. Innocent until proven guilty, but daggone, that's awful. And I'm glad.
Yeah, and I looked on Facebook and I was reading a bunch of comments on this story, and apparently one of them is extremely active in church. He was at church that morning. So you just never know if this is true. You just never know the evil that lives amongst us. You know, you have to always be on guard. You have to always be careful and just teach your children, you know, don't talk to strangers. If somebody approaches you, get to me as quick as you can. And at a park, I'm thankful that people had their eyes on their children at this park that day.
Right.
You know, they were watching it, and it probably saved these little girls.
Now, I'm seeing also that you have more issues going on in Mobile, to where the interim police chief down there is having to speak out about a recent more shootings, more gun violence. Is this a recent rise, or has this been kind of the trend, as it's been the trend in major cities across the state?
We actually saw a decrease in especially gun violence last year. And so this is a new little uptick that we're seeing. There was 4 shootings just in recent days, and 3 of them happened at apartment complexes in Mobile, and then the 4th happened at a convenience store. And we do have the interim police chief right now. You know, Paul Prine was placed on administrative leave in April, and then he ended up being fired a couple of months later. So interim police chief William Randy Jackson is now who is in charge, and he said, we are not going to take this. You're going to be held accountable for your actions. Even though some of these shootings and gun violence incidents were domestic related, he said, we're not going to tolerate any more of this. So he didn't go into detail about what they're going to do. Are there going to be more boots on the ground? You know, is there going to be more crime intervention techniques put into place? You know, a lot of times cities have found a lot of success in getting ahead of the crimes.
Sure.
And they do that in different ways, but we haven't seen anything from Jackson that's specific on how they are going to do this, but he did say they're taking these crimes very seriously, and he wants to assure everyone that the Mobile Police Department is doing all they can to work diligently and combat gun violence.
And are you excited about all these Amtrak contracts being passed by the council? I think the headline is Mobile is hot and poppin' with unanimous approval of Amtrak contracts.
Yeah, that headline, hot and poppin', kind of sounds like it went with the previous story we were just talking about.
Right.
But I will say Amtrak is very likely now going to come back to the Gulf Coast, and it'll go from Mobile to Pensacola, so people will be able to enjoy that. You can go to New Orleans if you want to. But this is another one of those things that's been a little bit, people either like the idea or they don't. And, you know, I'm from Birmingham, and I've said so many times, I feel like Mobile is Birmingham 2.0. And it seems like more and more that I see, the more and more they're becoming a lot like Birmingham. You know, the city's bigger now. They expanded in the last year, and so it's bigger. They're expanding the airport now. They're bringing Amtrak back. And I don't know if have you ever done an Amtrak ride?
I have not.
I went one time from Birmingham to New Orleans, and it took about 14 hours because the train had to stop and get tugged along. But also, every place that we stopped where the actual Amtrak station was, it was just trashed around there. That area did not look good. I don't remember a nice-looking one, a nice-looking stop. In Birmingham, I used to work really close to the Amtrak station there, and that was basically the homeless population's hangout. And I think there was probably a little bit more public safety concerns in that area as far as police are concerned, just because I saw several times cars being broken into in that area. And so I hope that the city of Mobile is able to get ahead of that and look into ways that they can make sure the people traveling remain safe. I've never heard of an Amtrak rider being, you know, assaulted or robbed or anything at any of these places. I'm just saying the looks of it weren't that great when I went, and that was almost 10 years ago, so maybe they've made improvements since then. But the city's putting in a lot of money to make this happen, like $3 million. The Alabama Port Authority is putting in $1 million. Hopefully the state will do the same. And so to have locals put that much money into something to make it work, I hope that Amtrak also gives back by, you know, respecting their lease, where they're going to be, and that property around there, and just making sure people stay safe.
Well, I appreciate your time today. And what, you've got a big thing with Ledbetter's going to be in your neck of the woods?
Yes, he will be here tomorrow. He'll be at the Eastern Shore Republican Women's Luncheon tomorrow, so I will be covering that. Look forward to that, and we'll have a little legislative update, see what's coming around the corner. And I'll definitely have that story up for you guys tomorrow at 1 o'clock, 1819news.com. But also, if anybody wants to get in touch with me, you can email news at 1819news.com or go to one of my stories, and my personal email is at the bottom of each story.
Well, I appreciate the time as always, Erica, and great stuff. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Erica Thomas, folks, editor at large there at 1819news.com. This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. The entire last hour brought to you by them. And, of course, Kim and Madeline are ready to help you with so many angles of, say, working a mortgage. It could be you're buying that first home.
Right.
First time you've ever done it. They can help you through that entire process.
Hold your hand right through the whole process.
All starts with pre-approval, but then what? You got appraisals, you got inspections.
Right.
Do you think they can even give tips on, like, negotiating? Or
I know they will, yes.
Yeah,
As a
okay.
realtor, yes, I do.
Yeah, you know they do that? I don't want all the secrets of the trade out there. But, yeah, and there aren't surprises on closing day when you work with Alabama Home
And they've
Mortgage.
got very quick turnaround closing
I was about
times,
to say,
man.
yeah, amazing turnaround rate. Like even on the VA home loans, 14 days or so.
That's right. That's right. They can get a clear to close in about 14 days. That's pretty good, man.
And there's a myth surrounding so many aspects of the VA home loan programs. People think, oh, the VA takes forever. It's no.
Not at all.
If you're
Not at all.
certified and you know what's up, it only takes like 14 days.
Yeah.
And of course, they can help you with a refinance deal. It could be you've got credit card debt you want to get off your back, or maybe you're just looking to rearrange your finances. You don't really have a problem. You just want some cash to reinvest in your property, yourself, or your family.
Yep.
Maybe you want to go on a big vacation you always dreamed of. It's your money. You built up that equity.
It is your money. That's right.
So call up Alabama Home Mortgage today. That number, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Why the heck do we have a full board of calls now?
Got them coming in, baby.
What did we say?
That's probably all single women.
Yeah.
They heard.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Red Top.
That's wrong. What's that, Red Top?
And 231 in Wetumpka is crawling with cops, but way back up to and back from Hog Rock, so they looking for you, buddy.
So slow down.
Slow down.
Slow down. Now last night I watched most of the rally with Kamala and Mr. Walls.
Mm-hmm.
And it was unbelievably weak. Lots of platitudes, really, and stuff like saying, we're going to save the middle class. That was maybe the most dynamic thing she said the whole damn time. And what's interesting about this, yes, it was weak, and he just seems like a big mouth, boisterous SOB, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But today, on all the major news, because, you know, I do nothing but live news, nobody's talking about that rally last night. Not even on The View did they even bring it up. This kind of surprises me today, Joey, because I think they were going, everybody's going to be saying, they had all kinds of people there. What a great rally.
Yeah,
No
this campaign was stood up so fast, it reminds me like that ending scene with Blazing Saddles, where it's a movie set, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of a musical.
Yeah.
Like, it just feel like something's going to give here.
Yeah.
Now, what's happening on the social media news line, which I'm always curious about that I don't get. What does Facebook News have to say about it?
I don't mess with Facebook because they're awful. Like, what was trending today on Twitter X was about the stolen valor issue with Walls. Other folks calling him Tampon Tim. That trended.
Yep, that's true.
Others calling him the Marxist Don Rickles.
Ooh.
Good.
Yeah. JV Vance also trends because they're like, he's like the JV team.
You know what, Joey? That Marxist Don Rickles is damn good. That's probably the best description of all of them. He looks just like him, doesn't he?
Yeah, actually, it is a fitting image, and we'll see. I just wonder, are these folks? Maybe that's why J.D. Vance walked over to Kamala's plane on the tarmac, trying to create a moment of like, when are y'all actually going to answer some questions?
Yeah, because, you know, they don't have any answers to the question.
Yep.
But I was talking with Charlie over at New Look, and Charlie's 26. Okay, so my quest now is to find out what's going on in his generation and your generation. And he said pretty much evenly divided in his group of folks, too, between the two parties.
Oh, sure.
Man, it's amazing to me.
So, golly Moses, I want to see the young people pick up the ball and run.
Right.
And we got to get the soy boys on the side of testosterone. Let's see. Now, a lot of people need to go to Montgomery Men's Health. Let's get some testosterone in these damn boys. Roll Tide, go Trump. Thank you, bud.
Thanks for the call, Red Top. Just sometimes people say things that just strike me as funny. We need some testosterone in them damn boys.
The soy boys.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
This is old Markle listener for years ago. Listen to you all off and on. I want to shout out for Michael Cohen. About 4 years ago, we had bought all our appliances, etc., from them, and about 3 days before Christmas Eve, I was having company, and I called Cohen's and asked, could you send me, could I come in and get a record player, tape player, blah, 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 CD player, all of that from my old one's gone. He said, ma'am, what do you want? And he got it out here the next day, set it up, and everything was wonderful. They're a great company. Another thing is, if you've never ridden a train, you need the experience. I remember World War II. I was on a train going to D.C. with my uncle and aunt, who he worked at the Pentagon. In any case, we have ridden the train in the last 15 years. I'd have about 8 times. You could go drive to Anniston, Alabama. You can park, and then they help protection for your car, or either someone can take you. My husband would drive me up there. I get on the train at Anniston. You wind up going up the coast and get to Fredericksburg, Virginia, but you have to go to Alexandria and get on another train going south to get to Fredericksburg. And if you want to take that route, you can. The train's going both ways, 2 different directions going north, and then you get off at Alexandria, and you can get on a train going down the coast to Charleston, South Carolina, and all the way to Miami. So I am just delighted that the Amtrak is going. They're going to work on the tracks and all of that. So tell me, if you guys don't like Trump and you don't like Kamala, whatever her name is, who in the world are we going to vote for?
Oh, no, I think this state's clearly going Trump.
Trump,
and
100%.
If I have to choose, I'm going Trump.
Well, yeah, I think that's the only way. He's what I think we've not heard a lot from him. I think he has. If you have I shot a gun and forgot to cover my ears, and it damaged an ear that can't be replaced. But now it didn't. That bullet, whatever, it went by his ear. I'm sure there was a sound as it went by, so it could have. They may be working on that ear as far as the sound goes. But anyway, you guys have a great day.
You too.
You too.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. Great hearing from you. Thank you. And let's go to line 4. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, man.
Hey, what's up, Randall?
I'm much. I hate that she done something for your ads, your people commercials, and I went by Smokehouse, man. I took 3 people with me. 3 of my friends.
Yeah, tell me about. I'm supposed to talk about them like literally right now. So
perfect time to call, Randall.
Let me tell you, they got the meals perfect, because you go in there and you hungry, you can get one that has the 2 pieces of chicken, the 3 sides. We ain't getting into the barbecue yet. Then if you ain't so hungry, they knock $4 off of it and they give you 1 piece. So you can, depending how hungry you are, how much money you have to spend. It ain't like you gotta go out there with a box full of meat or a box full of whatever because you had some left over and you wasn't that hungry. You can adjust it in there, and like I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you cannot beat. We got a little everything. One of my partners got the sampler plate, had everything on it, man. I mean everything, right down to sausage, ribs, sausage, and chicken, and smoked turkey. And the okra, is
fried okra.
fried just right. I'm talking about it'll melt in your mouth. Even the batter they use, like it's jam up jelly tight. We had okra for pre-gaming before our food got there, and everybody ordered okra with the fish. That's how,
man.
That's how good it was.
Well, and they've got the original recipes back
That's
there,
right.
and so I'm not surprised by what you're saying, but I love that you're saying it, and I'm loving that y'all have a good time there.
Oh yeah, it was good, man. They got plenty of TVs, so you know what I mean. You could watch. They had a couple of them on the Olympics, but they didn't have all of them. So, like you said, another choice you get to make on your own. You ain't forced to watch something, and you get to watch what you know what I mean. A little something different. Because I know a lot of people getting upset about having to watch the Olympics and promoting them or what they doing.
Right.
So, just in there, you can just turn your head. You know what I mean? So. And it's nice, man. It's nice in there. I'm gonna go back and check out the entertainment one night, and for sure gonna do that. And you can tell how big the parking lot is out back. That people love them.
Oh yeah, man.
They had,
You got parking up front, like me and Joey do, or you can park around back.
There you go. And this is right at Main Street.
Yep, Main
Millbrook
Street in
there.
Millbrook.
Yes, sir. All right, but I'll let you finish it up with the phone number.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Randall.
All right.
See you, brother.
Well, I don't actually have the number in front of me. Just go by Smokehouse.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Smokehouse Pit Barbecue, or you can of course look them up on Facebook, Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. And yeah, they can do catering, or they could do.
Well, we know they do a great breakfast because we've been there for breakfast.
Yeah,
Randall's sending me photos now. Now I'm very jealous of the okra because I do love fried okra.
I had that last time I went at night.
Did you?
Ooh, it's good.
Mm.
Yeah, I took the entire family there, and
There you
they
go.
loved it.
Excellent,
So,
man.
Yeah,
Excellent.
from folks from out of town who aren't normally eating, good old Alabama barbecue,
That's where
they
you need to
enjoyed
take
it
'em.
too. Like the camp stew, my Uncle Dave really
I
liked
do love
it.
camp stew.
Like, they got it all there. So y'all check out Smokehouse Pit Barbecue today. Stop by for lunch, dinner, or breakfast. A true destination for breakfast. And be sure to tell them that those guys on the radio, Joey and Eddie, sent you. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hi, this is Connie.
Hey,
and I
Connie.
wanted to tell you that we had our honeymoon on the train 61 years ago.
Oh, cool.
And we went from Omaha to California, had the scenic cruisers. They cooked our meals. They were with tablecloths and crystal, and it was fabulous.
Oh, my.
But our room, what we thought was going to be this great thing that you see on TV with a steam, a room, we thought that would be really great. We didn't have that. We had bunk beds. I walked out and told the conductor, I said, "It's bunk bed. This is our honeymoon." He said, "It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't care where you sleep." But it was absolutely fabulous, and they had these scenic cruises, and it was wonderful. I wish they had a train to Tuscaloosa and to Auburn for the football game.
Oh, that
They
would be
make a fortune.
That would be a popular trip. Yeah.
I tell you,
save
when
some
my
traffic.
daughter was when my daughter was at Alabama, and we had moved to Washington, I just told her, "I'm not having you on the road," so I gave her the train fare, and I said, "Just pick it up there in Tuscaloosa." And she came home about 2 months later. I got this bill, and I called her and I said, "What is this $40 worth of egg rolls?" She said, "Well, everybody was eating and sharing stuff, and I just thought, okay, I'll do egg rolls." So they had all the college kids from Tulane, and it was a ball. So she really enjoyed coming back, going to Washington on the train.
Well,
so it worked out really good.
We'll see if it takes here. I guess that Mobile route being revitalized with that new investment.
I think it would be really nice. Years ago, my kids were in daycare here, not daycare, but preschool, and they used to take the train to Birmingham, and then the parents would meet them there and take them to the zoo. So it was a time to be on the train, and they enjoyed it. They really did. They had a great time. And at that time, they didn't have microwaves. So the food
Oh,
was
yeah.
really good. But they really did cook, and it was absolutely outstanding. So I just wanted to tell you that the train ride was great.
Appreciate it, Connie.
Thank you, Connie.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, man, that sounded like fun.
I watched all kinds of videos on trains. They had some great trains in Alaska where they have the like a sunroof, but it's all glass, and you're going through Valdez and places like that. The scenery is amazing. But I was young and just drank the whole time, so I didn't get to enjoy it like I should have. But now that I'm older, I'd like to go and drink a little bit more and enjoy it this time.
Yeah.
Know where to stop.
Right.
But can you imagine the train going to Auburn and Alabama football games? That would be a party train, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good time.
No, somebody would find a way to ruin it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Why we don't have nice things.
That's how you get ants.
That's how we get ants.
Let's hit a break.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For many years, my team and I have worked diligently to provide our veterans with top-notch service, as it is our honor to serve those who have served us in the armed forces. Madeline and I are certified veteran lending specialists. Nationwide, there are over 22 million veterans that qualify to purchase a home through the VA loan program. Yet less than 2 million of them currently have a VA home loan. Many lenders do not keep up with the ever-changing guidelines and benefits of the VA loan program. They are intimidated by the program, resulting in many veterans not obtaining VA loans. This is unacceptable. The VA home loan program offers service members and veterans with 100% financing. You've already paid your down payment. If you are currently serving or have honorably discharged, we would love an opportunity to discuss how the VA program can serve you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Thank you for your service. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hey, this is Lyle from Margaret's Exquisite Jewelry, and I do my radio advertising on Blue Water. I'll tell you what, I use most of the stations, and I've been using it for so long. It's hard to tell with the money you spend on advertising if it does any good. When they come in and say, I heard you on the radio, I know it's Blue Water, and I love Blue Water.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks. Helping local business.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. As parts of the southeastern U.S. gets rainfall measured in feet, we continue on the dry side of Debbie with sunshine. Another hot day today with a high temperature near 100. Low tonight, 76. More of the same with upper 90s on Thursday and Friday. Sunshine dominates, just hot and dry. Even during the weekend, highs in the mid-90s and still dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union, the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Glad to see we're still good with Celine Dion tracks. I thought we
Celine Dion, really?
Thought we buried this. Yeah, Celine Dion. That's all I can see. Her in a sparkly dress coming out to sing some god-awful song.
You know why you think that track sounds like this?
Why?
Gay? Well, let's just look at you. You grew up with too many sisters. I don't care if you're married.
Now you sound like my mother.
Oh, no, Eddie's as straight as an arrow, right? You know, like...
There's no coming back from that.
Well, if you're coming out like a Celine Dion track, I'm throwing things out.
That's what that reminds me.
Well, and I spell it Gey. That's how I was thrown at you.
That's God.
It's the British way.
Oh.
Gey, yes.
See.
Gay.
Mhm.
So, Kamala's now speaking in Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
We have a different vision for the country, and he's a felon and all this stuff.
Look at all that diversity behind her.
Well, it is Wisconsin.
Right.
The land of the butter eaters.
Hey, we got a friend there right now, don't we?
Yeah, Byron's up there.
That's right.
Byron Sheehy. We need to get in touch with him.
We do, especially after today.
Now, Nate Silver's latest forecast still says this thing's a toss-up, man.
I saw something where
it's anybody's
Harris
game
was
right
3
now.
points up.
Yeah, she had a good national poll, but she had state polls that weren't as great. It's seriously, he's doing 40,000 simulations. He runs them each
Good
day.
Lord.
And they're like, it's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll see where all that goes. More calls rolling in.
I see that.
Let's go to them.
All right.
Line 1, you're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is East of the Rockies.
What's up, East?
Hey, I wanted to check with you, but I heard a rumor that Montgomery, in order to develop tourism in downtown, is going with a clothing optional thing, kind of like the nude beaches down in Florida. Is that true, or is that just a rumor?
I have not heard that, but what part of downtown are we doing? The whole
Near the Renaissance. Did you hear about the carjacking that involved the naked man?
I saw the video, yes.
Yes. I kind of thought that was somebody I knew for a minute.
Like some meth head.
Well, I was going to say.
No, Eddie sent it to me going, oh, they caught Joey. I'm like, I am not that skinny. And if I ran that fast, I would hurt myself.
Yeah. That is really bizarre.
Very.
You know, if that happened in Elmore County, that poor guy'd be laying on the street with a sheet over his face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know? It's just weird. But I thought I would stoke the fire a little bit and see if there was clothing optional nightlife down in Montgomery. But,
Yeah, the folks I think that got on the victimized side, the victim side of that, were just flabbergasted. I think, like, what the heck is this? But at a certain point, I was like, if that's me in my car, I'm putting that guy on the ground, and ground and pound is about to go down. So to speak.
I know.
I don't care if he's naked.
Yeah, I mean, he hopped right in naked and hopped right over the dude.
He's naked.
No,
Because when you're doing something wrong, you're not naked bereft of clothes. You're naked and
Naked.
you're doing something wrong. So
He's
that's
naked
how
as a
that works.
jaybird.
It's just I've got all this dark energy lately, and I don't need to be tried like that. It's like, okay, you wanna meet your maker?
So how do we think he came up being naked? I mean, do you think this was a prank, or do you think
the
that
way he
somebody's
goes
wife
about
came home,
taking
or
the car instead of
husband came home?
drugs? It's clearly drugs.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the other thing, the first thing I thought was that old Allman Brothers song that said there's just one way out.
That's right.
And I'm not going out that front
I ain't going
door.
out the front
You know,
door.
yeah, I think he jumped out the back door because Daddy came home, but I could be
I
wrong.
thought.
Well, and then you had Montgomery public school teachers learn about the evils of whitey.
Yeah.
You know there are white people that still use the N-word?
Really?
That's amazing.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
They still use what?
They're ignorant people that use bad words.
Yep.
Well,
Oh, yeah. Well, that's I don't listen to people like that on the radio, do I?
No, you do not.
it depends on the day and the topic.
All right. Well, listen. Let me know when we're going to do the News Talk train trip down to Mobile, and we'll have a great time.
Sounds like a plan.
Well,
All right, friends. Thank you.
Thank you, East.
see, if like Connie invited me to go ride the train, I'd be like, sure, that sounds like a great thing. If you invited me, I'd be like, what is wrong with you?
Why? What is wrong with a good train ride? And we don't have to drive. You just ride and enjoy. That's the whole benefit of the train.
Yeah, because you probably mean something else with your rumor and innuendo. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Babs.
Hey, Babs.
I called earlier, but you had the lady on, and
Yeah.
so I hung up. Earlier, y'all were, I think Eddie said something about you because you're not married. Said something to the effect that you're going to be like Tim Scott.
Yes.
Well, guess what? Tim Scott got married this weekend.
Yeah, at 57 is my understanding.
58 years old,
58.
it said, and she is a blonde white girl, and she looks pretty good. So
Well, let's
don't
hope
give
for you,
up,
Joey.
Joey.
Don't give up.
No, I'm not too worried about it. Eddie's more worried about it than
Put
anybody
down
else.
the mail order bride catalog, Joey.
Well, Eddie's like a lot of people that I know. They don't want anybody happier than they are.
That's right.
See, he waits to do this in the last hour when I'm a little tired. If he had come at me at the beginning of the show with this stuff, I would have smacked him.
There would have been a little bit more
I'm glad
pushback.
you didn't.
Right now, you're just kind of laid back. Got to take it.
I have a feeling it's going to be like, and it's going to make a weird sound.
Hey, I'm down to 211. 211.
Let me ask you guys something.
212
Have you
today.
seen the program that's coming on? I don't know. I think it's on the regular channels. I don't know if it's just cable. The slapping contest.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen many versions.
Would
of it.
not want to do that.
No, thank you.
Would not want to do that. That's crazy.
You me? One of the guys got knocked out.
Oh, that happens quite often.
No, I'd rather jump in a boxing ring than do that.
No doubt.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
with
just
a
nuts.
little protection.
Right.
All right, guys, I'm going to let somebody else talk. I love you guys, and I truly do listen every day, just I don't get around to calling. So,
Well, we love it when you do,
Have a great
Babs.
rest of the day, and we'll catch you later.
Pretty good. Let's go to line 4. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Skeeter. How y'all doing?
Doing all right, Skeeter. How you doing?
All right, man. I just got a question. So they say it's a toss-up whether we become the wokest socialist country, communist country in the world, or we stay the United States and remain free. It's a toss-up.
Yeah, it's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Because people are like, it's not about commie, like, woke stuff, Skeeter. We're just trying to be, compassionate neighbors.
Fools. We're trying to be fools.
That's the divide right now. It's pretty over the top.
I mean, that just drives me nuts.
Yes, sir.
All righty, then. Well, I appreciate it. I think I'll redefine this word, too, like they did with, both the parents don't have to be citizens or anything else. They redefined to fit their narrative.
Right.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. Y'all
Hey,
have a great day.
You too, Skeeter. Thank you, buddy.
But yeah, it is. From what I've seen, it's a toss-up for sure. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
It's Chad.
Hey, Chad. What's up, man?
Hey, man. How you guys doing?
Better than I was earlier.
I guess this is going to be the Mr. Rogers election with the neighborly socialist, right?
Oh, God.
Hey, one man socialist, another person's neighborliness.
That's
I'm like,
right.
no, my neighbor doesn't take my stuff, So,
True. Well, that stolen valor story, the guy who was pushing that, who replaced him in that unit, it's a pretty credible story, and I think he's going to get plenty of funding to tell that story to millions of people.
That's a pretty serious. Having been a former military guy myself, I'm going to tell you that's a bad look for him. Not only do we have the issue with him, basically bugging out after they get their orders to Iraq, but we also have him falsifying his final retirement rank as Command Sergeant Major.
Yep.
Which is I was telling Greg the other day, that's like saying that you made general when you were a colonel in the zone.
Damn.
That's a big lie. And people who are Command Sergeant Majors, you have to go to Command Sergeant Major school. You have to get a certification for it. I mean, there's very few Command Sergeant Majors in the military. I mean, there's one per post. It works directly under the general, and it's an ugly look that he would do something like that. So, but he's a typical liberal. He likes to yell a lot, scream, do stupid stuff. Like I like your Don Rickles, description of him. Only he's not as smart as Don Rickles, and he'll lie. I mean, he'll go up there and lie, But the point I made, the point I keep beating on the drum, and I know you guys have heard me say this, is that we got to run against them on the issues.
Right.
Right.
Sure.
We got to go down that list of issues, the low-hanging fruit. Their positions on fracking, on offshore drilling, their positions on law and order and crime. They ought to be playing. He gave the speech yesterday talking about that they're the party of peace and no chaos. They should be playing that quote while showing Minneapolis burning down.
Yep.
With all the local reporters saying he won't give us the guard to come out here and help this. And you have that poor black woman who was handicapped crying over the fact that, and she was rightly so, crying that there was nobody to stop them from coming through and burning up all the stores where she shopped. She couldn't drive or anything like that, so she could only go to places where she could walk. And she's literally sitting there, how am I going to buy groceries? How am I going to get prescriptions or anything? That will appeal to people.
Don't talk about people's race. Don't talk about people's ethnicity. Don't talk about the election in 2020. Don't talk about J6 or people or anything else. Talk about the issues. Talk about the issues. J.D. Vance is doing a very good job of it. Trump has been off of message. He needs to get on message and stick with it for 90 freaking days and stop talking about all the other crap about how much you hate Kemp over in Georgia and all that other kind of stuff. Nobody cares about that.
Right.
Nobody cares about it. And if you can't beat these two loser socialists, then you need to just leave the party. I'm a little angry about it because he had such good discipline up to and the 2 weeks following the first debate, but I don't think Trump's ever gotten over the fact that Biden's not the candidate anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be going in the right direction. Well, it's sort of slowed, and it really has balanced out to a toss-up by all the polling.
Yeah, it's a toss-up, and I'm not negative about it because right now is as high as Kamala is going to get. And if you go back and you look at the history of elections in August, Jimmy Carter was up over Reagan by 5 points, right? Mondale was up by like a number of points. I mean, all the elections that we ended up winning, the Democrats had 5 to 10, and this is national polling. I'm not talking about, just because you have a +1 or +2 or +3 as a Democrat in national polling of registered voters doesn't mean that's going to translate on election day to the battleground states. And Kamala gave us a gift by being so stupid and so anti-Semitic, she decided not to pick Shapiro, even though he had literally, erased his entire history as a Jew from the internet.
Well, and the Babylon Bee, I think, had a headline today saying Josh Shapiro very upset he got a Death to Israel tattoo on his neck.
Yeah, saw that. That was great. But that the thing that makes the Bee so funny is it's close to truth.
It is. There you go.
I mean, irony is so strong here that they literally took the state that could have put it away for them, and now they picked off a lot of people from Pennsylvania by not picking it.
Yep.
So, but regardless, we've got two very left-wing, literally socialist candidates, and if we can't get that message out, then it's because you're not running the right campaign. J.D. Vance is doing a hell of a job right now. He has got some speech down. And if I were Trump's people, I'd say, read this speech, shut about the rest of the stuff, and don't talk for 90 freaking minutes on the TV. Right?
There you go.
So,
well, I appreciate it, Chad.
Take care, Chad. See you, bro.
Thank you. Great hearing from you, man. Let's hit this very quick break.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
At Thompson Tractor, we love being here, in the neighborhood, working alongside you, helping you, serving your needs, growing right along with you. No matter the size of your project, we have a complete inventory of small to mid-sized machines to help you tackle any job. Fact is, Thompson Tractor is your go-to source for the best equipment in the business. Legendary Cat machines like compact track loaders, dozers, excavators, and more. And when you buy Cat yellow iron, you're backed by Thompson's trusted service and support from day one. We're all about boosting your productivity and your bottom line. Always have been, always will be. Like right now, with financing starting at 0% on all compact equipment. Whether you're just starting out or have been at it for a while, if growing is where you're going, let's get going together. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details and locations. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Sharon at Whitworth Farm Equipment now has a qualified and certified mechanic. Gary Baker can do it all. They're here to keep you in the field. Your tractor should work as hard as you do and keep working. For all parts and service, come see Whitworth Farm Equipment for all tractor parts, implements, and trailers. And now selling pine straw rolls. Go to Whitworth Farm Equipment, 285-9977, or at 7458 Deatsville Highway.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones to talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
I tell you what, I'm as busy as a bee right now, and I'm sitting here figuring out some jobs, and Chad's sitting here with his hand on his head, and he's not busy, so I'm going to let him do the ask. Here you go, Chad.
Oh, I appreciate it. Hey.
Hey, Chad.
Hey, Chad, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing all right. He's such a great guy, isn't he?
Yeah, all right. Wonderful. Very generous, man.
Ray, he's really dull and bored. He tells all these extravagant stories, and he's so dull.
Never mind. I got something else I want to talk about.
If the number's still the same for the floors?
It is, but listen, Emma Ruth and Jacob, I've talked about them moving to Blue Ridge, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they cannot take their dog with them. It is a small boxer, about 3 years old, beautiful white with bangles, in my backyard right now, and he can't stay there for long. And I really don't want to have to take this dog down to the humane shelter. So if anybody needs a dog or would love a really, really good dog, already fixed, up on its shot, needs a really good home, but the Bowles house is not it.
They
Call us today at 285-8117.
Yeah, I was wondering, just call the store, 285-8117. So any of your flooring needs, or if you want, that sounds awesome.
For a pet.
3-year-old boxer.
Yeah.
Good dog.
It's a great little pet. She's goofy. She's just as sweet as she can be. My yard can't hold that many dogs.
Gotcha.
Well, I appreciate it, Ray.
All right, guys. Thank y'all. Bye.
See you, Ray.
Pretty much out of time here. It's coming a mile a minute, man. Like, so much information flow. But I think this stolen valor thing's going to catch up to walls.
Oh, no doubt.
And it just, again, it's like the end of Blazing Saddles. It seems like it's a paper-thin movie set. It's just a matter of getting Trump to sort of crash through it in a way where everybody sees it.
Yeah.
It is remarkable to see the machine at work. And that's what I tell folks who are like, even like, how could you ever go with Trump? I'm like, how could you ever forgive this ruling class for what they've done? Not just during the Trump years, but what they've done the last several decades. And I'm so tired of the games they play on the Republican side and the Democrat side,
100%.
putting up their stupid little puppets to say whatever they need to say. I want folks that can actually, for better or for worse, be their own men and women, regardless of what the powers that be want.
Right.
So we'll see where it goes. And God help us in this country, because it's not just about this election. I think the actual genuine point I was making at the beginning of the show is we have deep problems in this country. And if we get lost in the muck and the mire of our democracy, we're going to lose a lot through some disaster. But maybe we'll be better for it. Maybe bring it on. Anyway, y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Beadle. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM.